up some sort of steal. Just has to get single
the
shot.
dome saves him.
The dome is so huge.
Perfectly
But they have to go for a swap now. Lift is hopping on dome field as it's going out. Every team's hopping into the loop incumbent, but he doesn't get the win. Oh my god, he just... Ladies and gentlemen, welcome on over to the Moolah Mondays. I'm very happy to introduce you here. We've got me on the casting front here today, and as my co-star here, Sutton.
Hello. Welcome, welcome.
Man,
Pleased
all
to be here.
right.
Thank you for inviting me.
Yeah, no, glad to have you here. We've got, there's a lot going on here. I'm not normally on the production side, folks, so you're just gonna have to bear with us here. But I think I've got a pretty good flow here for us here today. We have an exciting cash out match in front of us, and I am just very excited. We've got a lot of matches ahead of us. We had a lot more that were going to be streamed, but unfortunately, I do not have 8 hours tonight to run through everything. So we've modified our format just a teensy bit, and we'll be running a lot of games concurrently. But you'll be getting the most exciting games. We make sure of it. We're also running on 1 minute delay. So if we catch chats a little bit late, that's because it's a 1 minute delay. But other than that, Sutton, do you have any exciting things before we jump on into this match here in 1 minute?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm just like, I'm excited to see some of these teams, you know, some familiar teams, some new faces, you know, hopefully we get to see some, you know, newer people, you know, kind of take the spotlight. I know there's a lot of people in here that I've played with before that are some grinders, you know, and then there's like, you know, we got Pure Strafe, Oppo, and Sparrow, you know, they don't really need that much of an introduction because their gameplay tells it themselves. But yeah, I mean, here we go.
Yeah, I know. There's a lot of heavy hitters here today in this match. I'm very excited to see this getting started here as the match is loading up. So for the map, we've got Cis Horizon here today. This is a fantastic map to land ourselves on, especially for teams like this. So I'm very excited to jump into it as we just got a couple of seconds left. We're about to make our way on into the arena of the beautiful Cis Horizon 80s retro skyline. Let's go ahead and jump on into it, Sutton. Let's go ahead and kick us off.
All right. This is a fan favorite map too. I think everybody loves playing this map. Everybody loves watching this map. So this is a great one to start off with.
All right. Yeah, this is just a great map. This is a great map.
We got Pulsar over here already taking height. We're getting ready. Sparrow getting below half.
Yeah, we've got a little bit of early contact here as these teams just try and get vault. We have Pulsar who just are taking control of this first vault here. They have it kind of spawn on their side, which is quite nice of them. On the other side of the map, however, we did get ZND completely wiped there by Ignite. We didn't get to catch that. It was pretty quick, it seemed, but
looks like the light got killed, but they got the quick res.
Yeah, Appo getting knocked down really quickly. Wow, really low HP.
Sparrow.
Pure Strafes
just got Strafes up above.
Last alive here, trying to get a couple of shots. Unfortunately, not able to connect with them too much. And a beautiful showing here from Orbit. Great early start here from this team.
Yeah, great response, especially from, you know, being down almost immediately. You know, they got that quick res up and they really turned it around very nicely.
Yeah, it's just the power of your medium for sure. The medium can just absolutely change you what should be a pick into a great team wipe into something much more than just completely flipping the script there and bringing your team right back in. The mediums are just so powerful. And that's why they're
that repeater, man.
Absolutely. I mean, that's why they're colloquially known as the victim class these days, because if you take that class out, then that team doesn't have as much of a way to get back into the fight.
Yeah, big support class. And it, you know, as much as light turns into support, both those classes can really just turn into either support or frag.
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, it
here
looks like Pulsar has decided to immediately drop it all the way, which is a great idea. They don't have to worry about those drops.
Yeah, this is a great play here.
The 3-bar.
taking down the low HP here. Apo, he's going to go ahead and play life here, but he does get caught out almost. That does so much damage. Wackaree's down to low HP as well. Does get taken down Apo, but Wackaree's is just stuck trying to hide, and Sparrow's able to take him out here as we're down to a 2v2 here, but both teams have their actually, pardon me, Wackaree's was the medium. He did get taken out, so we only have one medium up here. This could be a great reset here. Strafes should be able to reset his teammate Apo if he's able to get to him in time, but he's able to get huge damage here onto Dawn with that mesh. He's able to stay alive just a little bit. Unfortunately, missing that first defib could have been crucial, but looks like they're going to back up and reset. They do get both players are up on both teams here as they look for the steal. They're going to go ahead and go for it. There's plenty of time here, but there's not as much space to work with here. That steal does end up coming through, and a great steal from Apo, but it did unfortunately cost him his life as the rest of his team is stuck trying to defend this point against the entirety of Ignite Gaming, as Ignite are able to take one down. Actually, sorry, the whole wipe there as I'm speaking there, and a great recovery there and able to fully flip it back. Benefits of holding defense just continue to flourish here.
Yeah, and you know, it seemed like Strafes, he died off camera, but I was excited to see how both of them were going to be able to stall it with their heavy, who's the usual staller. But it also looks like we got Purity, Centrix, and Lusky, who won their cash box on the other side of the map too.
Yeah, absolutely. Here, I'm just doing a quick check here on our kills here, and definitely looks like Ignite topping the board with kills here, but Purity and Co on the Orbit team here, they are also not too far behind, and the money shows for sure as these teams fight over Vault 3, and it might be a little bit of a bad sandwich here. This is a great timing here for Ignite to jump on in with this beautiful pad and an RPG. Fortunately, missing that shot here as these teams fight away, and this third party can just be so devastating sometimes.
I know. I'm surprised. Dawn and Wacko and Jericho, they just decided to third party that soon. Normally, you kind of want to wait for some deaths right there, for some kills, but it seemed like they kind of wanted to be in control of the situation.
Yeah, absolutely. Pardon that. That was a Discord. If you guys heard that, I want to make sure if you guys are in a voice chat, you didn't just hear yourself leaving your own voice chat there. But as we continue forward here, cash outs are plugged. There's almost no stagger here on both of these cash outs. As we've got, if you look through this X-ray, it's very hard to tell, but these two teams, nobody is looking for that third party. They're taking very safe routes to play towards each other here and try and get into the fight. So we'll jump on over towards the cash out that takes contact first here. And it looks like D is going to go ahead and get that early contact immediately here, as Zeus looks like he's going to go ahead and stay alive just with plenty of life left in him. But unfortunately, he's completely isolated. That heavy, that evade, his heavy is completely isolated, and that has absolutely just devastated the team play here as Zeus, the last alive. He's hitting a lot of bullets, but it's not enough to recover after taking so many heavy losses so separately.
I know, that's one of those things about being a medium with that repeater. You know, it's really strong, but when you're having a 1v3, 1v2, you know, the slow semi-auto that offers, as strong as it is, it sometimes isn't enough to hold off on your own. But over here, it looks like we got Pulsar just plugged, and it doesn't seem like they've really been having to fight that much, although they're in a fight right now. They are holding pretty well. We got Sparrow holding up on top, which is a solid plan.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and play life there. He does get pushed away from his spot, but it gives the opening for the rest of his team. Yeah, to go ahead and jump on in there.
Wow. That's a class act right there. That's playing together. That's playing your class.
Yeah.
Very nice team wipe. Right
Phenomenal there. Sparrow, he took first contact, which you don't normally want to do as a light, and he got out and completely disengaged, and then the rest of his team was able to capitalize a little bit on the confusion, trying to ape him. And he kind of reversed the roles there, just playing back in the back with that ARN just shredding away, which, can I say that ARN level 13 is absolutely gorgeous. I cannot believe he's got a level 13 ARN.
I know, it's nice seeing a little reactive camo. You know, I know we got a lot of, like, you pay for a lot of reactive camos, but it's nice that we have one that we can earn.
Yeah, I really like the level 13 skin. The level skins were
level 12
pretty okay. I really love, is that the blue cloud one?
No, it's I'm colorblind. It's the other cloud one.
The other cloud one. Fair enough. Yeah,
like
I really like.
Green or red or something like that.
I thought it was very interesting. Through the beginning levels were okay. The medium levels were kind of pretty good too, but some unique designs. Some of them were not as good as others, but yeah, once we started getting into those later level 10, 11, 12, they started to look pretty nice. Didn't love how scuffed they looked on some of the guns and skins and util, but I think this level 13 looks absolutely immaculate and is a fantastic thing worth fighting for here.
Yeah, we got Zooks going down. We got Evade also going down. There's a nice little battle going over here. It's a 2v1, although Jericho is very, very almost dead. He's very hurt right now. It looks like Shadow is making a rotation. I think he's just trying to stay alive, let his friends coin in, and he's gonna, I think, try to make a play over here at A potentially, or even this box.
Yeah, I'm very interested to see what his playstyle is here as he tries to stay alive here. He's waiting for his teammates to coin.
Discipline.
It's interesting that he decided not to go for that wipe earlier because his team really doesn't have that much money in the bank, so it really wouldn't have been that painful for them. But I guess they're really just going to go ahead and play the coins because might as well. It gives them just a second or two advantage, especially by the time that his team coined in. That was a valiant effort there, trying to go ahead and go for this point. The rest of his team has joined up with him as they try and move Vault 6 to bring it over. They want to be the team to plug it here, but it looks like Ignite have snagged it, and they're going to go ahead and get this plug as well. They might be able to get it, especially with Jericho. He's low on HP. Can he get the plug in time? He gets winched, unfortunately,
Wow.
and a great plug recovery. Oh, my days.
Oh my gosh. And it looks like Dawn is just kind of hanging a little bit back. I think they're going to just try to play their life. They're going to go back to their box because it might... I mean, I think they win regardless. So, I mean, if they want to go have fun, I think they can. But, man, I think that was the great job by Shadow. He played his life. He let his friends coin in. And then he went and they chowed that third party. They won the third party, and they got that plug-in successfully. That was a huge play.
Yeah, absolutely. That was an exciting moment there. I mean, it would have been crazy that the #1 team were able to get another plug, and the fact that they're still holding on to this point is crazy as well. But they're finally getting pressured here, and there's a real chance that Apple and his squad, Pulsar Esports here, they could actually make the money up if they get this steal. This point could bring them into first place. But it looks like, unfortunately, they lost so many of those fights that they're going to have to back out. And now Appo's in a bad spot here, getting chased down by some members here of the rest of Ignite Gaming.
Yeah, and I like this. I like this play. I think when you are down members, it's always best to third party. Now it looks like Ignite is not going to allow him. I think they want to get Pulsar out of here, which it's not a bad game plan at all.
Yeah, not at all here as we got a last couple seconds counting down here in absolute domination, surprisingly, in incredible form here from our team of Ignite Gaming. And not too much further behind were ZND. And so that was just absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and ZND, they were a little bit behind throughout the match, but it's the good thing about the finals is you don't have to win every cash box. You just have to win the right cash boxes.
Yeah.
You just got to win the ones that make you win. You don't have to win all of them.
Absolutely. Yeah. You definitely want to take those wins. You don't have to play for the kill game though. It certainly pointed them in the right direction to go for that kill game there. And so that was a lot of exciting plays there and a lot of very interesting macro decisions that you don't necessarily get to see every day, and especially not at that often at a high level even. I mean, it's so interesting to see the macro just kind of getting pushed a little bit, pushed and prodded in so many different ways, which are just so interesting. I mean, the team of Ignite getting that plug, and they had enough wiggle room that they knew that they had to be able to try and get that additional plug, because any money can just help. Just any $1,000 here and there can help so much.
Yeah, that is correct. And, I'm thinking, what are these other teams, game plans going to be? Is Ignite still going to go, super chally? Are we going to get Purity, Centrix, and Lusky a little bit, more into the fights? Are we still going to see the same amount of third parties? I'm curious to see how even Pulsar, they were doing pretty decent throughout the match, but, I think they lost more of the fights they should have won more than they won, the matches they should have won. It seemed like they died in more intense situations more than when they should have won. But, these guys, they're pros. They know what to do.
Yeah, absolutely here. Yeah. I mean, definitely agree with that. So yeah, that's exciting. Yeah, sorry, I've got a lot of administration decisions here that I'm working on here, and trying to bring these teams here together to these different brackets. So you're gonna have to work with us here. I don't have too much more to say as we get our next games through. Let's see. Oh man, admitting your own strats here. This is definitely eventful. We could do a quick little intermission here.
Yeah, sorry about that, guys. There's a lot. There's going to be a lot of different, lobby changes. There's less BO3s. There's more BO1s. There's just 1 rounds of, full cash out. So we're going to be going back and forth between, lobbies and teams. So I think the in between games are going to be a little bit longer if y'all stay patient. But we'll hopefully be able to keep y'all entertained in the lulls of this tournament.
Yeah, actually, I'm gonna go ahead and bring us into a quick little intermission here just to make sure you guys have something to look at and listen to here. But we will come right on back very shortly here after we get this next lobby here set up, and it should hopefully get smoother and smoother as the night goes on here. So work with us here as we go to intermission, and then we'll look at results and go forward here. right, welcome back, folks. We've got a lot happening at the same time here, but I've got a nice little spreadsheet here ahead of us that can show just a little bit of these standings here as they're being updated in real time here. So we've got our phase 1 first few games that have gone through. And so next up, we have our BO3 of our top 2 teams from each of these brackets are going to be taking on this best of 3. And the bottom 2 teams will be going on to fill out this next cash out round, which will be happening simultaneously off stream as we follow our first best of 3 here. I'm just going to start kicking people from lobby here. And final round. Oh, yeah, I got to make sure that. So, yeah. We got, you can't see this, unfortunately, this sudden, but it's the bracket. Looks like a bracket. Incredible. But I'm going to go ahead and build out our teams here for our final round in front of us. Sudden, what are you looking forward to here for these this 2-team clash here between Ignite and ZND?
Yeah, game plans definitely change on 3-3, head-to-heads, final rounds. You don't have to worry about another team coming and messing you up. So it gives you a little bit more focus. It allows you to kind of create more tempo. It allows you to, create really any situation you desire to be in if you are that good. And so I'm excited to see exactly how Ignite, as dominant as they were, see what they can do against a 3v3 situation.
Yeah, I definitely agree with you there on that one for sure. But yeah, I'm very excited to see these 2 teams here clash it out, and we are gonna be go ahead and jumping into our next game here finally after making sure that we've got everything set up to our enjoyment. Make sure we have no game show, and we are launching. So this game is going to go ahead and get started up here as we talk our way through and we look at the standings. I'm very excited to see what's happening on the rest of the bracket. But as our game loads in here, I hope everyone is having a great night here.
I know I'm having a great night. It's always a good night just getting to watch some competitive finals. It's so underrated. But it is seriously one of the most enjoyable esports to watch as of right now.
Absolutely. Definitely agree with you on that one for sure. So I'm very excited. Looking forward to this match as we go ahead and get ourselves loaded on in here. We got just a couple of seconds left as we bring ourselves on into our final round, best of 3, ladies and gentlemen.
And we are rerunning Sisterizing. I think consistency is key. I think, again, it's an amazing map. And I think it just shows a true testament to, this competition for these teams to run back the same way.
Yeah, absolutely, for sure. Yeah, it is. But, we've got these teams already immediately fighting each other right off the rip here. And this first fight could be very important. It could be very important. It could be not so important, depending on how things go. This could set the tempo for the rest of this match here and allow one of these teams to kind of get a bit of an early start and start setting up and getting that defense, which is so important.
I'm very curious why they were hanging out down low for so long.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point.
Interesting strategy.
It is a very interesting strategy, but we've got 2 completely different team comps coming up against each other, not in the form of clash classes.
Just perfectly.
That DMAT saved Jericho's life. But he's last alive, and he's going to go ahead and take that team wipe. I guess that was his strat with that play there. But yeah, we've got a Winch SA 1216 coming up against a Deagle's Mesh Shield, which is a very different comp setup, so very asymmetric. So it's very interesting to see how these teams are going to continue to fight up against each other here for this final round.
Yeah, a lot of times, of recent updates, you'll kind of see a very, very similar, loadout build for heavies. But this season, there's a lot to choose from, which is nice. It's very refreshing. It also helps create, a lot of you know, just different situations. So yeah, winch SA versus a mesh, you know, deagle. You know, we'll see who comes out on top.
Yeah, absolutely. As he's as Ignite gonna go ahead and start closing in here, while Glitch unfortunately is not able to connect, expecting that DMAT to go a little bit further out. But we've got Evade getting caught out, and he doesn't have his RPG reloaded. That could be costing him a lot here as Dawn goes ahead and takes him down. But he does, Zeus does get taken down as well, with Shadow being the last alive, and a quick wipe that could have cost that team, could have cost him the fight there, that unreloaded RPG.
I know, and you know, that's probably why he went in head first, but it seemed like the heavy, you know, it seemed like he was a little overzealous. I don't think there was a real need to jump in there without your team, but you know, I'm sure if he had his RPG reloaded, we probably would have seen what his game plan was.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Z&D, they have one more opportunity. You know, we got Ignite, you know, kind of sneaking around at the bottom. They're going to play that drop. It's a very, you know, fundamental game plan. And so if I'm Z&D, I'm probably looking for where they're camping. Try to get a quick wipe before it's too late to where you just have to bank on a last second steal.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we've just got a couple of seconds left here as they're going to go ahead and have to close in. That gas could be just enough to stall this just a little bit here, as Wackarees with that shotgun is able to lose. He's going to unfortunately lose that fight, but that trade does come through here. That TP is just going to continue to stall and keep that pressure on the point, and there's just not enough that they can do here on Z&D's side, and they're going to go ahead and just take these fights.
All of Ignite goes down, but they got the, you know, they got the cash out. Yeah, I think there's a little bit too much hesitation. I think immediately you make sure it's down on the lower level when you have just one, you know, one more opportunity still left. And, you know, I think if you're not, especially if you're not going to figure out where they're at, I think you immediately have to make sure it's down low. And since, you know, Z&D have that winch, I think you just blow it down low. And then you winch it, you know, maybe a little bit to safety. You could use some goo to create like a little room, you know, because odds are they're going to have some height availability for when the cast drops immediately. So
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
here we are. It looks like Z&D, they have the cash out. They're rotating it all the way to C, which is a pretty good idea. They do leave their medium back, but by the time they plug this, they should be able to, you know, he should be able to coin in. But it looks like they're still a little bit separated. This heavy is going to take a 1v1 against the medium. Medium was kind of doing some work.
So they can go ahead and keep fighting here. Yeah, work with us here as we down to one player here on ZND's team. They're going to look for that fight. Fortunately, do get taken down. That shotgun's able to just do work at that range. It's just incredible that the model is just such an interesting shotgun. It can just do so much work at such long range.
Yeah, I'm not, you know, exactly mad that they decided to take that fight. I think it was fine, but you know, they should have at least, you know, try to meet up. Maybe Light, since he's a little bit faster, try to meet up with your heavy, support him a little bit closer. Or they could have just kept running and let the heavy, you know, maybe give his life, you know, waste some time over there while the medium coins in, and then they could potentially play drops. But here we go, Z&D on attack. We got Ignite already. You know, they're playing up top. They got their drop set up. They got a nice little rinse and repeat, you know, setup going on right now. I think what they're doing is very, very good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're just playing so passive. You just got to play off the point. You're just going to keep playing their life. I think we did just get a little bit of a glimpse of one of the players here on Ignite.
Oh, my gosh.
But they're going to go for that jump pad. That RPG play could be just enough, and it does catch one off guard.
Counter
That
pad.
winch does miss.
Medium is so close to death. Heavy was able to get out. We got the medium down. He needs to regroup, get his heavy some heals.
Yeah, wow. Down to 1 HP is
down.
Zeus. The 2v2 left here is he's going to just try and play his life as best he can, but there's not much he can do, and down to low HP and just not enough.
I don't know if you saw that, but that was a nice trade-off. I think he knew, you know, their comms are good. I think they knew that the medium was weaker than the heavy, and he's over there giving his heavy some heals. So instead of trying to battle through those hills, they decided to swing out into the open. He knew he could get the shot off on the medium, gets him down to where, you know, the heavy, slow regen, they're able to get him fully wiped out.
Yeah, that's good. So this is going to be the last push here for this team here on ZND to see if they can get work done, as they're going to go ahead and do a great quick teleport here. They're going to jump in here, and they're going to have a hard time. There's just so much util and everything just on this point, and they're going to try and go for the steal. It's kind of open to us in a sense, an attempt for Goo, and the jump pad is sealed the deal there. And so much for eating my words there, as they're going to go ahead and finish out this last couple seconds. They do give it another attempt, but there's just not much left to do, especially with that jump pad DMAT playing.
Oh, wow, yeah. Yeah, that jump pad DMAT play, that is very, you know, not a lot of people expect it in these past couple of seasons. You know, it was a common strategy, you know, pretty much since DMAT has been released. You know, it kind of demantled Healing Beam as the meta, but as the Healing Beam has become meta from last season to this season, you know, it's interesting that, you know, that this team is deciding to run DMAT, which I'm pro DMAT. I've used it in some tournaments since the meta change, and I've used it in ranked, and it really does work, because one, a lot of people aren't ready for it, and two, I mean, it's another drop, you know, it's another drop method, and the more drop message you have, I think the better.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, I was taking note of the asymmetric team comps there, and honestly, I didn't even like make a big enough recognition that they were running DMAT, which is such an interesting play, especially in this meta where there's that healing is just so powerful. But I guess they're able to make that DMAT work in a 3v3 environment with that mesh shield, is able to just help keep just enough health alive on it on their heavy.
I know, and you know, I hope they took that as a lesson. You know, I think they're going to be able to, you know, maybe rewrite the story here. I think they know that they're probably going to be playing DMAT drops, you know, that they're going to potentially use the jump pad on the, you know, the last 15 seconds of the box if, you know, if they're attacking at that time. So I think what they got to do is, you know, a lot of times you want to attack from the top down, but I think they've noticed that, you know, Ignite is preparing for the drop below the point. And so, you know, if I'm them, I'm looking for that jump pad. I'm looking for the medium with the DMAT. And I'm going for those kills before I'm going for a steal.
Absolutely. Yeah, here we go with a absolutely crazy vault and spawns here. These spawns are just so alternate to what you would expect here. But it looks like ZND is going to play it safe, and they're not going to open, even though they do have that early advantage of having control of it, but they are going to have to fight through the only other team here in the lobby. So they're probably going to opt here to play it safe, and if they lose, then they're going to have a buffer, but if they win, then they'll have a buffer anyway. So it's just kind of how they're playing it here.
Yeah, I've noticed in a lot of, you know, the pro tourneys and, you know, higher up in rank, you see a lot more of, you know, we don't have to touch it. We are in the better position. We'll let them, you know, start trying to make them the first move. And, you know, it works a lot of the time. And speaking works, you know, a lot of the time, it's, you know, fun that we're seeing a model user. You know, like, it's a very underrated gun right now, and I think it does work a lot of the time. But a lot of people just aren't necessarily running it. You see more FCARs, you see more FAMASs, and you see more repeaters, but, you know, it's nice seeing a model.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a very interesting change of pace here, which is actually, it's a very good point. Such a crazy choice in metas such as these days with these long-range poke weapons. So, looks like Ignite are going to go ahead and bring the box very far with the nice little teleport here play. Bring themselves on over towards Cash Out B. And so just in case you guys aren't aware, this if they win this final, well, actually, if they win these next two cash outs here, they will be going to go ahead and securing their spot here for Phase 2. Actually, pardon me, I don't think they're even going to Phase 2. I think they're securing their spot here, like, full stop. This is the first qualification match that we've got.
Yeah, you are correct there. You are correct there. The first 4 teams that win this first 3v3 game will be moving on to, will be qualifying. So that is fun to see. So, I mean, we do have a lot more left. You know, for these teams who win at the beginning, it's nice because they don't have to sit here and you know, play and get ready to play for a full like 3 hours, 4 hours. But you know, nothing's better than just punching your ticket in early. You know, dominating and getting out there, getting to spend the rest of your day. You know, maybe grinding ranked. Or having some beers, or maybe both. I'm a both guy.
Not a bad idea, not even a little bit. That is a fantastic fun time. But we did, in the meantime, lose Z&D once again. Down they go. They're getting having a bit of an uphill battle here, and difficult fight in order to try and get themselves a spot secured here. And so if they aren't able to get this one here, they're gonna have plenty of opportunities in the very near future, and then they're gonna be able to hopefully improve their craft here, playing teams such as Ignite, who are just doing so well right now. And they're going to go ahead and go for that high ground, speaking of Ignite.
Ooh, Light player going down 2-2. Shadow needs to somehow regroup with his teammates. Jericho is also 1. He needs to...
Yeah, he has no healing.
Supporting him right here.
There's no medium healing here, but they are just going to go ahead and play for that stall, that jump pad drop. Just doing so much work, and they're gonna have to get on the vault here. Zeus goes for the point, and they're gonna have to do something, and down goes 1, down goes 2, and that DMAT is just too powerful and cannot get them enough. Does not have enough time to hold on to that point as it drops.
That's poison. What a performance.
Yep, and you know, I'm not sure if Z&D is making mistakes. I just think Ignite is just playing that well. You know, that they're responding perfectly to no matter what's being thrown at them. You know, they don't have that extra healing. And what do? They get the medium to rotate with the light to protect his life, you know, and potentially get that trade if the light does go down. Because, you know, they'll have to either try to, they want to try to force that light to be dead. And if they do, they have to worry about the medium. But here we go. We have Z&D meeting them at the box. So this will be interesting. What will they come out on top? Will they finally get to set up shop? Let's see.
Yeah, here they go. The second plug comes through here, and it looks like Z&D might have control of this box here now, as they are going to keep pressuring this team. But those mesh shields, those dome shields, are just giving so much value. And down to Shadow, the last member of his team, just going to try and play life, but he is hunted down fully by Jericho, and that wipe does come through.
Yeah, and you know, I'm not upset about that wipe. I think he should have embraced it a little bit more. You know, there's nothing wrong. You know, the box did just get planted. He doesn't have a way to drop it, and he's 1 shot, and he's going against 3. I think just go ahead, take your medicine, wipe, reset with your team. You know, get a little, you know, wipe the sleep out your eyes. You know, and lock in for this next little bit, because this is potentially we're going to get Ignite being sent to the qualification.
Absolutely. Here we go as they spawn back in. Going to be interesting to see if they can find contact here, and immediately is found. Jericho doing his job as a light, getting that scouting value just so much. As they're going to go ahead and get this jump pad up here. They're not interested in that. They don't have his RPG out. He's not interested in doing any RPG tech because he knows he's not going to find that light. As he primes his C4 to bring it down 1 drop, he's going to go winch it. That C4 is still alive on that point, and that's going to cause a lot of problems for this team as that dome is completely gone. They're going to have to raw dog the steal, see if they can do something here in our last couple of seconds, try and see if they can make fight contact, as everyone is low on Ignite's team. This could be valuable here for them. They're looking, trying to see if they can hit that
Not
flag,
shooting him for some reason.
He could not see him at all, and they're back to full HP, and Zavade is the last member of his team, and he just can't bring it together. And that, it looks like a beautiful qualification match right in the hands of Ignite.
You know, and I don't like speaking like illy of, you know, these teams. You know, I want everybody to succeed, but they just kind of fumbled that one. They didn't really, you know, dive in. I don't know, like all of they were all weak. I don't know. I was so confused. It seemed like he was like right in his face and he wasn't shooting.
He wasn't able to find
Ignite
him. I think he was really
easily
struggling
could have lost
there.
that. Yeah, that was. I'm sorry. I was kind of at a loss for words. That was very interesting. It seemed like it was very much. Maybe that was just like caster point of view. Maybe we just were able to see a little bit more than what he was seeing. But it seemed like, you know, they were all below half, if not 1 shot.
Yeah. Absolutely.
But
so
congratulations, Ignite, for being the first team to, you know, solidify their their ticket. They punched their ticket. They're qualified. If you aren't familiar, this is very similar to the Grand Major setup. So, how we saw Envy immediately just get, qualified for that, that close or the major, super quick. They just had to win 2 games. That's kind of what's going on now.
Yeah, absolutely. So we're going to go ahead and move ourselves on over towards the standings here, the standing screen, as we take a look here. And Sudden, I actually did send the link here in our commentator chat if you wanted to open that up on another monitor. And if we take a look here at this screen, we've got a few unfilled columns here, so you're gonna have to bear with us here. But we've got Ignite Gaming and ZND. But if we can actually go ahead and zoom in here on our qualifier screen here. So we've got our teams make it through the finals. First team, that gold bar means they made it on over. They've qualified. They've successfully qualified their way on in to the Moolah Mondays. The Moolah Monday qualified glory. But getting top 2 in that first cash out has brought ZND a great benefit of just moving on to phase 2. So they get to chill out for just a little bit while the rest of these games play out through phase 1. And moving on to phase 2, they'll be able to have plenty more opportunities here as they continue. So just if we want to do a quick review here, phase 2, they're going to have those 4 teams play that 1 cash out. Those top 2 teams are going to go into a best of 1, and that best of 1 is going to determine which team goes ahead and gets that next qualified spot secured. The loser will actually go against the other bracket side best of 1, winner loser, if you will, the loser of the 3v3. And they will fight for that next spot, that 3rd spot. And if they don't make it into that 3rd spot, they're going to move on in to this last section of this bracket, where I believe they're going to be fighting at the very end to a best of 3, where they're going to try and fight out to either make it or get sent home. And so those 2 teams that didn't make it in phase 2's first cash out, they're going to have one more cash out where the bottom 2 teams of that are completely wiped out, and they're going to have to play for their life in 2 games of a cash out and of a 3v3. So I'm going to move us on over towards seeing our beautiful faces that aren't really our faces as we go ahead and prep the next sections.
Yeah, and I think the really good thing about this format is, when I very first saw it, it was very kind of shocking, because when you look at it, it's very different than any other. If you ever watch Halo growing up, I don't know if I'm showing my age, but I remember Halo 3 tournaments. I even was semi-competitive back then, but it's very straightforward. It's just one team versus one team. Double elimination. Sometimes just single elimination, and you just got to either keep winning or you got to make your losers bracket run, which is always an interesting watch. But this one, I feel like this is a pretty forgiving bracket system. There's a lot of games, which means it's not just double elim. At least you get 3 chances, which is a little bit more than most tournaments. Most of the tournaments that I've played, besides the Grand Major, opener, open qualifier, a lot of it is either single elim or double elim, just team versus team. Sometimes people will do the full cash out and, top 2 teams advance, and those losses count as losses. But, this kind of gives, some of the teams who aren't winning as much, time to regroup, maybe change up some of their strategies. They get 3 opportunities, and it's nice for the teams who win immediately. They don't have to play as much. They get to, enjoy. But, some of these teams, nothing is more enjoyable than a loser's bracket run and, and winning the Grand Series. That's always my favorite. And I'm pretty sure that's how, correct me if I'm wrong, I'm pretty sure that's how SSG ended up qualifying for the major. They ended up having to play every single game.
Yeah,
to
that's
get to the major on the closed bracket.
That's
I think they were the very
ruthless.
last game.
That is ruthless. Yeah, that is a rough time to play so many games. So it sounds like we've got a couple of games that are a little bit staggered here that we're trying to run at the same time. So while we let those games go ahead and wrap up and we prep our next lobbies, I'm going to bring us on into a little intermission here. You guys can take a water break, bathroom break, do all that you need. I know these games are riveting and we're working as best we can to keep this smooth transmission on over towards you guys. So we'll do a quick couple minute intermission here as we get things set up. welcome back, folks. We have an exciting couple more games ahead of us here as we get ourselves ramped up here for our next best of 3. Yes, same map from before. And so, yeah, I'm very excited. We're going to be tuning into a slightly different group of players here from our top half of our bracket that we haven't tuned into before. And so I'm very excited to see how they play.
Yeah, and you know, a couple of these guys from my old teammates, you know, Sticky and Mario, you know, they're really good. You know, Mario usually a light, Sticky usually a heavy, but I know they have kind of been changing up the script a little bit this season. They're kind of wanting to venture out into some different stuff. Last time I played Sticky in ranked, I know he was running medium while Mario was running light. So we'll see if that's still the case. But you know, those guys very good. You know, they're just off the edge of top 500 right now. But this other team, you know, I'm not the most familiar with them. I have not seen them play, but I will be very excited to see what they can do against them.
Yeah, I know. I am also very excited to see how these teams play out here as we go ahead and move ourselves on in to this wonderful final round, best of 3 format here ahead of us. And let's bring it on in.
Yeah, let's see what Team Glitch has in store. And yeah, it looks like Sticky is back on heavy. You know, like, I think, you know, they maybe took some of the experimenting out. You know, they put Mario back on light, Sticky on heavy. You know, sometimes you gotta do, you know, during competition season, what's best for the team. You know, I think it's nice to, you know, expand your palette, you know, try to figure out, you know, the play styles of the other ones, you know, even try to main some of the other ones. But, you know, you got to do what's kind of best for you sometimes in these heat of the moment situations.
Absolutely, yeah, you do. And so it's interesting here. It looks like that there's no initial fight because of the spawn differential is just so far. And it looks like this Phantom has gone ahead and taken the high ground, but the high ground hasn't benefited them too much here. Because they were able to take the low ground glitch and make their way on into a plug. Very interesting choice of utility here. We've got an APS with this C4, and so it's going to make it a little bit difficult to get a dome on point. Could get punished if you're caught off guard and you don't think enough about it. Speaking of which, we also have a glitch trap in play, which is also very a little bit unorthodox here. So it's very interesting to see this different play style here from these teams. But here we go. Look at that. We've got our team stuck here, Glitch. They got the APS on the goo canister ready to do work here.
Yeah.
This is an absolutely crazy play, but he's forced to go ahead and get that heals off for his team. Six Strict was able to just completely stall just enough for that steal to come through. And now they're going to have to be stuck fighting a comeback. They don't even have a kill under their belt.
I know, it seemed like they were maybe trying to force a play, maybe that they've been practicing a lot. But, you know, I think sometimes you just don't have to complicate things that should be a little bit more simple.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, the building comes down, it saves Six Drift, and it saves Mario. This building is coming down. Like, it's like Inception over here. You know, they're kind of using the map to their advantage unintentionally, but it's still a 2v2. They get Sticky back up. 2-3, Six Drift going down a little bit. Mario getting them with the hills. Medium getting Sticky with the hills. It is a mesh off. They're just facing each other with mesh shields. Sticky, they know that he's by himself. Pacho goes down. Medium getting pretty weak. And we got a heavy. He gets the res off. Is it going to be enough? No, he immediately dies.
Wow. There he is, last alive is Tank Hero, and he gets wiped just at the end of that cash out there. And this crazy fight and absolutely crazier destruction. I mean, there's the absolute dynamism that you look for here in the finals. Whether you love it or you hate it, it's here to stay.
I know, if we had a replay system, I would have loved to bring that back up, because if that building didn't fall, Six Drift, I think, was going down, because two of them were shooting him. The heavy, I believe, had full health, and he was about to piece him up, but as soon as he started shooting, that building fell down and protected him. And same thing with Mario. You know, he was about to get shot. There wasn't really much where he could get out super easily. And, you know, the fallen golem saved him as well.
The
Oh,
teleport that Mario set up here has actually just completely been usurped here by the entirety of Glitch. And they decided not to glitch that, and they went ahead and yoinked that puppy and brought it on over towards B. And so it's going to be putting them in a very interesting position on the back foot here for this fight.
I know, it's a good move. You know, like when you're the light, you have to, you know, back off that. You know, you're not really going to take a 1v3 at this level a lot of times. So, sword goes down. Oh, wow. And yeah,
it's an absolutely
they all,
electric wipe.
yeah, that's
Wow.
a very, yeah, that's a very quick wipe.
Yeah, wow. I mean, I don't even, your sword goes down and the whole universe is gone immediately. I mean, that's such a quick playing of happening there.
I mean, Phantom, they won that first one pretty, like, it seemed like they controlled the pace of play. So now let's see what they're able to do when they're not in total control.
Yeah, they're going to be on the back foot here once again here as they going to make their way on up, and Glitch have the high ground here, so it's going to be difficult. Sticky's just absolutely barraging his way in, but he... Oh my gosh, that APS is just doing so much work. It's just decimating any attempt at a C4. And unfortunately, it's just made their life so difficult here with this cash out not moving even a little bit. They're going to have such a difficult time trying to get this point here. If they can get these kills where they need them, it would be great. But down goes one, down goes another, and there's the third and another quick wipe succession.
Wow. Yeah, they just had them, you know, at all angles. You know, sometimes you don't have to stick together. You know, when you are setting the tempo, when you're playing defense, sometimes you can play those off angles. You know, your medium, especially when you're using a repeater type weapon. You know, in fact, whenever I was using the pike, we would do this. You know, sometimes have the light next to the heavy, and then the medium can pick at them from different angles. But with that light, dash, and sword moving around, a lot of people get nervous. It's very chaotic. He's dashing around, he's lunging around, and then you got the heavy and the medium shooting from two different angles. That was very, very class act.
Down.
APS just
APS just gone to the freaking bottom of the map of Narnia, man. That's funny.
So this is pretty even. It seemed like it was a one-way kind of fight at the beginning.
Wow,
like
here we go.
choices.
A bright, quick fight. I bet both these teams might not have even expected to fight each other here, but we jumped right on into this fight. And a lot of damage and a quick wipe coming right back at him. I mean, this shows you that this is not an absolute, I mean, this is a little bit of a domination here from one team here with these team wipes, but just because the team wipe happens so quick doesn't mean that they lost the fight so horribly, because it can happen right back around, right back at you there in the same fashion.
I know, and good thing about, you know, these, you know, mid-transit fights on the way to the box is, you know, if you wipe, there's still going to be another fight in between that and the box.
Yeah,
And,
I mean,
you know,
they just spawned.
It kind of extends play a little bit more, so it seems like we're probably going to get, you know, at least a few more minutes of gameplay in this because of that fight right there.
Yeah, I mean, absolute work is happening there, taking out that mesh shield. Both teams running that mesh shield. A TP is coming through. That C4 might be able to get enough work done. It does a little bit of damage, but Hacho on that sword is able to still get that trade out on Sick Drift.
Oh,
unfortunately, Sticky gets himself with that. Wow. And now it's all up to Mario here. See if he can get any work done, but he's going to get closed in on very soon. That dash can keep him alive just a little bit longer. Unfortunately, not enough. Dash is not enough to save him from the sword of peril to swipe his face off.
And it looks like Glitch, you know, they kind of took the you know, that first fight in stride. You know, it seemed like that's what all of this map was going to be, was you know, Phantom kind of running the show, you know, setting their own pace. But you know, since that cash out, you know, Phantom hasn't really won a meaningful fight yet. You know, that they've won some of the ones that maybe help give them some confidence, but the ones that truly mattered, you know, they can't seem to, you know, they kind of have been on their heels the rest of this match.
Absolutely, that's a ton of huge chip damage.
3 bars. He is getting some kills, but it's not quite enough. Medium kills him. Then their medium goes down on Phantom. Mario is 1 bar. He's trying to survive. He's trying to figure out what he needs to do. He's trying to get some picks, and down goes Mario. And, you know, it was a fine enough wipe, you know. I'm glad he died a little bit soon because it gives them another chance for, you know, if we're still on this.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that fight almost looked like it was going to start evening itself out a little bit there, but Mario was just not able to get enough contact damage there. Once being low on 20 HP or something like that, it's just so hard to have a lot of impact there on light because you're just basically breathable on. This M60 is a very interesting pick, by the way, here with Tank Hero. I kind of just noticed it just recently. It's just these team comps are just so interesting. But this is going to be our last attempt here at this steal as Mario brings his whole team in here for this team fight to see if he can make things work here. And he takes a couple of shots. Sticky's immediately taking down that sword. It's just basically not even, it's just agnostic to any mesh shields. It doesn't even care even a little bit.
I know, and I'm surprised, you know, if I'm them, you know, and I know that they have a sword, they're kind of sticking together, you kind of do that poke meta, you know, like Mario, I think he's just kind of staying down. He's not interested in giving any more kills. I think, you know, there's no really point. But, you know, if you know that there's a light sword up there hanging around their boys, you know, I think you got to kind of use that repeater. You got to stick and poke him, you know, hit him twice, get that good opening, launch pad on them, and then, you know, have them on their heels, you know, you force the momentum. But, you know.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm not playing at my...
Yeah, no, that is very valid points that we've got there. Very exciting match that we have there. We're going to be jumping right back in there very shortly here. 2 or 3, no. Or yeah. Yeah, so we're just getting our team set up here for our last our next match here. So remind me once again, that was Glitch that held the crown
Phantom
there
versus Glitch.
Glitch was the team that made it up on top there. So that's fantastic here. See if I can give you guys a little bit of a score piece here in front of us, just to kind of help you guys out. Let's do this, and we'll do 0-1, and we'll rename it. What can we say? We like building things off on the fly.
Yes, we do. You know, not a lot of, you know, people behind the scenes. You know, kind of what you're hearing is what you're seeing. But you know, as we go into this next round, you know, I'll take a little bit of control while we get V doing some of the good Samaritan background stuff going on. But you know, Phantom, we got Sticky, Mario, Sixdrift. We know their skill, we know their capabilities. I think they just need to lock in a little bit more. I think they just need to take what happened on this past round and you know, capitalize on it. You know, they need to figure out, you know, what they did on the first you know, on the first fight, you know, maybe isn't enough. Maybe they need to change out their game plan. So
yeah.
You know, are we going to see Hacho running sword again? I mean, it seemed to work last time. We'll see if they're going to keep the same.
This feels like the start of something beautiful.
Yeah, and the tempo is just so different in this game. These teams are going immediately for this vault, and they're immediately tapping that vault. Unlike the tempo from our last best of 3 that we were just watching there, and then that teleport comes through here as they bring that cash box over. They're not interested in taking that first important team fight for the tempo. They seem to be aware enough of their tempo with these teams, and very interesting backwards switcheroo play here. They must have heard them, which is great read, and now they're gonna might have a bad time. Mario, that zip line, there's barely enough of a gap to take a shot through, and so he's able to get so far with that zip line being across the map. That does so much work to just bring him glory towards playing that point. And now it's Tank Hero and Hacho here that are pushed up here, and Uvinity was able to get a great early pick here on the remaining 2 players that were on the back foot. Mario's probably not going to be able to defend this point, but he is going to go ahead and give it a try. He does take one down. Hacho goes down.
Doing good so far, and as he's holding down point, Sticky was able to get that res off. They were also to get that res off, so you know it's an equal 3v3 now. Mario has his teammates open. You know, Glitch rotating up on top. They're taking high ground, which is always a good, you know, if you don't know where people are, you know, at least take high ground. You know, that's the very least you can do in these fights. And I think they hear them below them. I think they know where they're at. I'm not sure if Team Phantom knows exactly where Glitch is at, but we're going to see maybe a little bit slower paced of a game right now as they're trying to sniff each other out.
Pulling that APS out for his early contact. If they can find Mario's about to have a bad time just in that corner. He's able to get out and stay alive, but he might be out of dashes. This is going to be hard to run away for him, especially for that RPG. But unfortunately, it just takes that floor out. Tank Hero is just not able to get through with that movement. That is just so difficult. It's one of the downsides to the RPG is such big chip damage is it just, you don't have a floor anymore, and you're going to have to walk around that. As the steal attempt does come through.
Good bait.
So does the ceiling, and down trades.
Sticky goes down.
The trades coming through here. Uvinity getting down to no HP as well.
Mario getting the medium down, but the light respawns. It's a light versus a medium. Lights down. It's Drift clutches for his team. They get that first cash out.
Wow, absolutely incredible. That was definitely a completely different team fight than what we saw last game. I mean, it almost seems like a different game. Like, these teams are actually taking trades left and right here, trying to get themselves in a little bit further and down to a 1v1 there. And unfortunately, just Hacho going from 100 to 0 there at the very end. Very difficult.
I know, and it seems like Phantom knows how to respond to a V9S a little bit better than a sword. You know, it seems like they know exactly what to expect. You know, this is a gun that they've been running into constantly on ranked and in tournaments. You know, not as much as swords. But, you know, it was nice. You know, I thought they properly baited them. You know, all of Phantom jumped in, Sticky got wiped, but they weren't able to really capitalize on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not quick enough on the glitch.
Oh man, that glitch is just not able to do it quick enough. And so teleport does go through, but the box doesn't move too much further as this team looking around Phantom. They're trying to just stay posted up, and they're able to catch Hacho with his pants down, so to speak here, trying to get that teleport gateway through. But he's able to get the gateway 1 through, and he's going to go ahead and take a lot of bullets here, looking for that glitch, getting it onto Sticky. Down goes one.
Medium
Sticky,
goes down. That was a good
low
trade.
HP. That glitch is enough to distract him and actually gets him taken down here. Mario and Sticky might be able to get work here if he's able to get heals on his heavy, but heals weren't even needed. He wins his ones.
Yeah, that was potentially a really good trade-off because, you know, they got Sticky really low, and then he saw that the medium was right in front of him. Instead of just trying to, you know, listen to your ego and think that you can take that 1v1 with the heavy, he traded his targets. He went over to the medium, started peppering him. That medium went down, but they just weren't able to, again, to capitalize on the team that was low. But very quickly, it looks like they're about to be fighting again. Their light was caught out a little bit behind the other team. Mario needs to come up here, get Sticky out with these hills. It looks like he did a little bit. Enough for Sticky to give him a little bit more damage to where he can just clean up.
Wow, Sticky.
You know, and as we call the light class, they are the janitors.
Yeah, that's for sure. Sticky caught out once again. Another player caught out with their RPG not fully reloaded in time. That is so devastating in team fights. You need that RPG to be ready and primed when you pull that out. And it's just not there, and it's not going to be able to do the work for you, and you are going to most likely die, especially at this level like we just saw. Sticky does go down, but thankfully the team around him is able to support him sufficiently and help him out with that.
It may have been a case, may have been a bit of a case of he just, you know, the cooldown just happened, you know, because he just used that rocket on that last fight, and they didn't waste any time getting back into another fight. So, you know, maybe it was a little bit of a, I don't have the RPG yet until this fight started happening.
Yeah, absolutely. Interesting kind of multifaceted high ground tech here from all these players. They have used all their util. There's a ton of util on the point. They're going to have to try and go for the steal here because they need this steal in order to continue this game forward. And they have successfully baited out Sticky and Co here as he gets taken down. Six Drift
is down to 4 bars.
Yeah, he's going to go ahead and take a couple of bullets here to get able to get Tank Hero down, but Hacho does take that trade, and they do get the team wipe just in time, barely enough to get that steal through. You hear the crowd counting down, but it's not enough of a stall from our team Phantom to bring them on over to a map 3, so we are going to continue forward. This could bring us to map 3 or not map 3, whether or not this last cash out goes the way you might want it to.
Flawless steal led to a big payout.
I know that was nice. I think Phantom, you know, might play into the baits a little bit too much. You know, it seems like as soon as they start stealing, they jump up and do that. I think you might want to wait, you know, for that, you know, let off. You know, it happens all the time. It seems like they're trying to bait constantly. So I think instead of jumping right down on them, I think they just need to anticipate that it's a bait.
That is a
I'm
reach
loving
of
this
an
aggression.
RPG, and he's completely been stopped. Tanker down to no HP. He's going to have to get out of there if he can help it, but he's just getting laser beam and peppered with all those bullets. He does actually come out alive, but he might not be able to stay alive for long, and those heals are just keeping him afloat as Sticky does all that he can with the bullets that he has in his arsenal. He's looking around, trying to see if he can find something. Hacho down to no HP. Able to get fully healed up now. You got both the players who run the heals versus a player who has a bunch of shields. Seeing if he can get any work done. Unfortunately, bullets are not connecting as much as he would have liked. But it's not too big of a deal because 3 hasn't been plugged yet.
Yep, that RPG, you know, sometimes when you don't ADS and you're in the air, that thing, I mean, coming from a guy right now like me who's, you know, starting to get a little bit more locked into the heavy class, who I haven't, you know, hasn't played heavy in the first 6 seasons, you know, that I've learned very quickly that RPG can go flying off the map if you're not ready for it.
Absolutely, yeah. No, that pad RPG play was already a bit of a stretch, and right in the time that he throws his RPG out, he gets APS'd, and it's just absolutely devastating. That's so much impact loss. Wow, incredible shots coming out here from
shots by Divinity.
Sticky being by himself could cause him problems here if this team recognizes it and going to go ahead and push him, but they're going to decide not to. They're going to go ahead and play a little bit safer here to keep themselves alive and keep the stall going. This is the last point. Wiping here could be devastating and cause you a lot of problems.
Yep, they got APS, but what I'm kind of curious about is why they're not hiding the APS a little bit more than what they're doing, because I know there's a lot of better ways to hide it, but it doesn't really seem like it's providing much support to their gameplay.
Yeah, that's a very good point. You would have thought they would have ran it underneath maybe or something like that, but they went ahead and just left it up top. But there's that C4, the dome. That's a great dome tech that I love using personally myself. It's going to extend your dome just a little bit, but he's attempting to go through the steal, and he's not able to get it down, unfortunately. First steal is stopped, and now it's going to be a really tough ask as Sixer does get that res off, but he does get taken down. It is immediately traded
but
as
so
Sticky gets
heavy.
resed right back up, seeing if he can get some work done. Hacho is staying alive, and those heals, and he RPG'd himself.
Wow, an RPG himself.
Mario.
Can Mario hold off on a 1v2? Almost full health on both of them.
He's got enough time for this res. He is going to go ahead and bring it out. Is he going to be able? He even has eyes on the second res point, so this is going to be very interesting. He gets his full health on his heavy, so this is going to be very interesting and very difficult for them. They're going to have to go for it, and it's a really bold play here to immediately go for it. Down to low HP is Mario, and down to low HP is Sticky, as the last member of his team can't really get too much done. Unfortunately, he's going to go ahead and not RPG himself, not C4 himself. And there you have it, folks. Glitch have decidedly secured their spot into the next phase, I believe, if I'm correct there.
Yeah, that was a very interesting game. It seemed like, you know, very early on, Team Phantom just is very good at running the show, but it seems like longevity as the match goes on is not their friend. It seems like it seems like Team Glitch is just very good at, you know, long-term planning, long-term succession.
Yeah, absolutely here. Yeah, so very exciting games that we've had coming through so far. Great team play here. And so we're going to be moving on to our final game of phase 1. And then we'll be able to move on to phase 2 and continue forward. So let's go ahead and take a look at our results screen to just kind of get an idea of what's going on. Look at our standings right here. If we take a look here, we've got all of our standings for the most part filled out. Colors kind of around, kind of not. But we've just finished out our best of 3 right here in this highlighted column that I've got here. And so the winner of that is going to make their way on over to phase 2, as we see here, as it slowly gets filled up. Both of our cash out rounds will play out, followed by a best of 1 to secure the next spot here. If we look, had to do a little bit of modifications here in our phase 2. We've got our best of 1 to qualify themselves in. And then we've got that followed by the losers going into a best of 1. We have explained this earlier. I am remembering this now, but I figure it's always good to clear this up. And then we've got the final little bit that we will get to eventually. But the losers of these 2 teams here will move on to fill out these last 4 slots here as these games finish up at the same time. And we will have 2 best of 1s to kind of round us out here to see which team will continue on to phase 2 and which team will be knocked out. This will be our final 4 teams across our 2 games here as we get ourselves set up here. How you doing so far here, Sudden?
Oh, I'm doing good. I'm loving this. There's a lot of good gameplay. There's a lot of interesting tactics that I'm seeing. A lot of some kind of not so interesting tactics. Some things I'm kind of left wondering, why are we bringing this into this tournament? Some of this stuff seems like it doesn't work in ranked. Why would it work in a tournament? But, there's like some people who are able to, win on some off meta stuff. Like as we saw some DMAP plays earlier, which is nice and refreshing. I love a good DMAP play, especially. I mean, I love that Helion is taking the meta at least for a season. I'm glad the finals changes up metas a lot to where we're not just stuck like Call of Duty for like 4 years on the same stuff. But it is nice having heals as the meta, even though they could be overpowered. But it's nice when somebody runs, DMAT in a healing centered universe.
Yeah, absolutely. We're just waiting on a little bit of info here from our last 2 teams as we get our next lobbies set up.
And again, I think this the way this bracket is set up, I know it's kind of confusing, and sometimes the when you don't have like a lot of people, trying to successfully use this bracket can get confusing, but this bracket really does help. It helps create more opportunities for teams who are losing and helps reward teams who are winning. So it's a good win-win. There's a lot of times it's like, it's equal. It's like, okay, well, winners, they have a little bit more success. Losers, if you're not that good of a team, you might as well just count yourself out. But in this bracket, you have 3 opportunities minimum if you're a losing team, which I think is a lot better for than most tournaments if you're going to be losing. So it is nice seeing, a bracket, style be able to support, both sides. It's very refreshing. It's very nice. It can be confusing just by, just by visually looking at it. It's a lot going on, but I think once it's actually explained and utilized, it actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think it's due to the nature of the finals being such that the primary game modes are these 4-team and 2-team cash out and final round modes, it's really nice to be able to prominently display through tournament formats and league formats both sides of these coins here. And unfortunately, just with them being such a different quantity of teams and the way you have to organize things, it can get a little confusing. But once things get ironed out and the actual players are able to play the games in the way that as they go through the bracket, it gives them a lot fairer of a match options ahead of them. So if they get unlucky through cash out game, getting kind of griefed in some capacity, they can manage their way through just raw skill through these 3v3 matches. So we are getting our lobby almost set up here. BO1. So we have an updated I will bring us back on over to our spreadsheet here just to look at it one more time here as this game gets prepared. On the left, we will have BTR, and then on the right, so we will be watching BTR and Pata. We like jumping across the bracket to give a little bit of flavor everywhere as best we can. So we will be jumping in. This will be a quick game. This is going to be our best of one, so this will be relatively quick. Looks like our teams are not ready. I was about to say they are ready, but we just got a little bit of pause here. We got the players just getting settled in here, a little bit of a bathroom break, you know, the usual. So we are getting our matches are ready here. We got our final match of our phase 1, getting ready to get ramped up here. This final match will be for glory or the opposite of glory. Sudden, what's the opposite of glory? Help me out here, man.
Failure.
Failure.
Demise.
Yeah.
But and as you say final round, we mean final round of the qualifiers. We don't mean final round period, guys. And you know, as we are watching, you know, we're going into Zumi Citadel, which, you know, so far we've watched Sis Horizon and we've watched Vegas. So it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice watching this. You know, I love this map. It's a very, very good map. You know, I think it's a good reminiscent of Sis Horizon. I think it has aspects that work well in Sis that they moved over to this map. And I don't know why, but for some reason, and like, again, showing my age here, but I'm a very big Halo guy. I grew up with Halo. But for some reason, Sis Horizon reminds me of the Halo map. Like, it's very, like, the movement and the rotations you have in that map are, like, very similar to that in my mind. But I think Nozami and Citadel, I think it's a very great, like, yin-yang style map. It's very, like, it's very, very enjoyable to play. But, you know, the teams that we have here playing for this map, we have... I'm sorry, I'm trying to find
you're
them.
good. You're good. BTR and Pata. So we've got BTR is going to be our beautiful orange team, and Pata is going to be our wonderful pink team as we get our game finally is ready and is going to get started up here. I think we've done enough yapping here as we go ahead and get ourselves into this game. After this game, we will have a little bit of a nice brief intermission here and get ourselves settled in, get prepared for phase 2, which is going to be very exciting to get ourselves into phase 2. We've got just a handful of games ahead of us here in phase 2. We'll be watching one cash out. We'll be watching one final round, followed by maybe another final round, and then another cash out, and then another final round. Some capacity like that. Not too many, not too little. I will verify which games we are going to be spectating just to see what's happening there. And I'll probably try to watch all of the cash out rounds that are left because there will only be 2 cash out rounds left. But sounds like the timer is ticking down as our game commences here with BTR and Pata getting launched on in. Here we go.
Yep, and I know, I honestly don't think we can do enough yapping. I think we do too much, but I don't think it's enough.
Too much, but also, you know, not enough.
I
understand. The sentiment is real. That is fair. It's always good to have enough yapping. Yappage is the flavor of the soul or something. That's the most meaningless statement I've said tonight, I think, for sure.
I know. You try to make something happen, but it's fine.
Just like that RPG play from earlier. What can we say? We do our best.
Oh, wow. And the light goes down. He's down. He's trying to be the taxi for his medium and his heavy. You know, and sometimes you put yourself in position when you're light doing that. That is just not optimal. But sometimes you have to get your team into the fight. But as BTR loses the light player here, as they're losing HP, I noticed in the comments, a lot of people are vibing with Pata. They seem to maybe be the favorite on this from while we were starting upstream earlier. I saw a lot of when do we get to watch Pata? When will they play? You know, it seems like we do have a little bit of fan favorite here. I personally know BTR a little bit more. I know Reaper is a menace. Joe goes absolutely crazy, so I'm very, very excited to see what happens here.
Absolutely, yeah, I know. I'm very excited to see these teams work here. See what they can do is they go ahead and make their way on in. Joe Wosif is not hesitating, not even a little bit here with that mesh shield. Fortunately, does get glitched pretty quickly, and that jump pad goes out, and Reaper just gets chipped to low HP because he has no support with his heavy, but his heavy's jumping in with no support either as they get a ton of damage, and those heals are not able to come through anywhere near as much as they would like here. This cash out ticks down lower and lower, and Grazi gets a great pick here and looking to see if he can clean up as well. And it looks like there is the team wipe as the rest of his team does go down.
I don't know if you saw that, but the RPG that landed next to everybody absolutely did 0 damage. That was very, very surprising. It seemed like, you know, it at least should have done damage. I think it was either to the medium or to the heavy who was right there, but it really didn't seem like any damage was done by that RPG.
Yeah,
and if you look where the RPG actually hit right there, that's where the team was standing.
Already got contact coming out here from our two teams here as we were beautifully investigating the teleport high above the ground. But it looks like the contact was only low, little and light and sparse as Max Puerto taken down to exactly 1 HP, just trying to stay alive here. Doesn't have too many heals. There's his teammate coming in for those heals with the clutch. Looking to see if we can find a Reaper pad here. Is he going to look around? It looks like the pad is already placed. They noticed that teleport. They're going to go ahead and go for the point, especially with that C4 on it. He's not able to ride it down, unfortunately, which is kind of surprising, to be honest. But they're going to go ahead and take this fight here as Tinder is able to take down Joe Wosif with that shack as he tries to get more work done. Down to 60 HP. His teammate is not looking to heal him. Instead, looking to take those fights himself as he's able to take down one with just one remaining. I lied. He was able to get that res off and down Joe Wosif. He's the last alive and not able to get enough done, unfortunately, as that cash out completes.
They're standing tall, Scotty.
Yeah, unfortunately, getting farmed in that situation of a losing fight, you know, can tilt some teammates. I know whenever I get farmed, it kind of puts me off my rocker. But, you know, it seems like what I'm noticing is Reaper's kind of going in a little bit first. He's kind of taking some damage. I think they need to maybe slow down a little bit, let their heavy go a little bit in front, kind of use that mesh shield as a little bit extra protection.
Wow, incredible early damage coming out.
Down goes Grazi. You know, the light and the heavy are kind of playing together. You know, I think they're just going to try to patiently wait. They're going to get their medium up while Reaper, Max Puerto, and Joe gets set up for the next cash box.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to possibly even just wait for the coin. Looks like they're not really interested in getting that res. I'm not sure if they are. It looks like they are getting that res there. He is on 0 seconds on his coin. Always a good option to have, which is actually interesting to note. So they do get 3 coins in this final round format as opposed to the 2 coins of the cash out, the ranked cash out. Kind of interesting strategy from Embark here with these custom games that could make or break some games, but honestly doesn't make or break most games. So it's not too consequential for sure.
I know, good thing for them. They were actually able, Pata, to take that gateway that was they were able to move the box. So, you know, they were able to get in there kind of quicker. They didn't have to waste some time out in the open, you know, take any damage while the team was getting set up.
Yeah, that revolver.
Grazi gets, you know, some pot shots taken on him, but he gets his health right back. Yeah,
that revolver's shown to do some work here, but they are trying to just kite around, seeing if they can make work. But that high ground has now been given up as Mr. Tinder and his team decide to jump on in here, see if they can get work done. And they are getting a ton of damage. Joe Wosif maybe not able to get as much done with this SA-1216 as he would have liked. Getting completely aped 1v1 on this heavy play, but he is getting actually winning that fight.
And the SA
Down
actually
goes the rest
wins.
of the team in an absolute sweeping fashion. Great recovery. The movement diff is just absolutely absurd here with Joe Wosif. And a little bit too much
guys,
BM for my flavor here, but they do continue to hold on to their point.
That's exactly how you kite, ladies and gentlemen. I don't know if you saw that. They gave up high ground. They didn't necessarily need high ground because they knew that Pata was needing to get that wipe on him before they decided to steal. You know, that they knew that they were going to be going for him, so they kept rotating and kept rotating. You know, they did lose a lot of HP, but they were actually able to, you know, to win on top of that. But here we go. It looks like if they get on it quick enough, they potentially could. But I mean, they got to fight a drop right here.
Looks like Clarify
He
opted
writes it
not.
down.
Oh my gosh, he's able to ride it so far, but Clarify, maybe if he had opted for that glitch grenade in time, it might have been able to save his team from the absolute decimation that follows. Down to a 1v1, and he's able to win on 5 HP!
Oh,
Not
dang,
too consequential.
Clarify.
Not too consequential, because they did lose the cash out, but that is a great ego boost.
Just hit the arena.
Yeah, it's good to slow down the momentum. Like, even if you don't win the cash box, I think it's just as important to the mental to wipe the team who just wins the cash box, because you know it helps slow down their momentum. You're able to kind of start setting a little bit of the pace, setting a little bit of the rhythm of the rest of the match.
Well, I just learned today that you can't go through that building in Spectator, which is something that I didn't expect to see before. My cinematic shot has been ruined, but that's okay. That's okay as these teams go ahead and fight each other here. The vault hasn't been opened yet. Looks like they're going to go ahead and see if they can make contact here. Max Puerto just trying to stay alive. Looking
Yeah,
around.
it looks like maybe Tinder have already recently used his RPG. I saw an explosion earlier. I'm not sure if that was a red roll.
Yeah,
but,
I think there was an RPG thrown out here, so we might be down an RPG actually on both teams. Looks like.
Yeah, so maybe potentially, maybe potentially Reaper, Max, and Joe might have a little bit of a advantage.
Great
Here they come.
C4
Great
reactionary.
C4.
Quick timing on that choice, but unfortunately not able to get too much capitalization on that. As Graziv is the last to go down in that fight. No vault has been opened, but an incredible prediction play there, just barely in time. It's almost as if he had a crowd telling him that's where they were. Fortunately, there is no crowd here in this virtual environment, only the ones. Actually, you know what? That's a very good point. This isn't a stadium map. Where's the crowd? Oh, there's the crowd. It's just further out.
They're up in the sky.
It's up in the
Nosebleeds
sky.
only.
They're all virtual. Virtual crowd for a virtual world and a virtual game show,
The
baby.
live wires are back on the scene. The Boundless have a
Well,
cash out.
very kind of equal fights here. You know, it seems like there's a little bit more momentum going on one side, but it seems like maybe the tides have shifted on the second half.
Yeah, absolutely. I think this could be a reverse sweep here for our. This is only a best of one, so this cash out is the last cash out to determine those making it on further here. Looking to see if they can make their way into this cash out. Pada fighting for their place in this qualifier spot. Trying to see if they can make something happen. This isn't a very important game. Do you play another 2 hours or do you go home sad? Gonna go for the steal here, see if they can ride it down to their benefit. They're gonna go ahead and give up. They did get just barely baited out with that SA shot, but it looks like the team has arrived in the commencement.
Reaper goes down a lot of health. So does Max. So does Joe. They gotta try to use that health. Max is gonna come out top. No, Clarify actually
Oh my
wins that.
gosh, that is an
Good fight right
incredible
there.
win there. That another 1v1 on the lights for that fight. Clarify able to take absolutely no HP at the end of that fight. This is going to be a really difficult retake here for BTR as they go ahead and decide they're going to have a tough decision to get this fight done. They're going to be down on time. They do, looks like they're going to be comfortable with about 45 seconds, but
The Boundless have recovered.
they have a lot of work to do for this 45 seconds of a cash out. Immediately getting spotted out and aped upon. Graziv getting taken down to low HP, and great frag immediately from Max Puerto, and that steal is coming through immediately. That C4 drops it down onto that jump pad, which could cause some problems, but they are able to take it out quickly. Mr. Tinder trying to blow a hole through the wall.
get
It
his
steals.
heals.
So many heals coming through here. They split. There's only a couple of seconds left. They're going to have to get back on the point. They don't
think
have
you
any
gotta hop
heals.
on now.
He's able to get down. He's able to get the kill barely in time, and that's not enough to stop.
Oh,
Incredible work. Wow.
wow.
The live wires
Good job.
I almost
Pada.
don't even have words for that.
Yeah, that was very, very crazy. I think at the end maybe the heavy starts trying to still. I know sometimes you just gotta kind of do what you gotta do, but I think the light has to take his one right there. You know, Clarify, he was going crazy, but man, that was amazing. That was a pretty fun match.
That
And
was a
what's
close
interesting to
match.
me is I'm kind of confused, and let me know in the comments, like, we are not really seeing many lights throwing their glitch on the cash out before they steal. It seems like a lot of times,
That's a very good point.
you know, they're trying to play for the drop when, you know, they potentially could just glitch the drop. And I know a lot of times they have like a secondary drop available, but, you know, sometimes you can catch these guys slacking. You know, they might be 40 meters away like we saw in Vegas, you know, on one of the retakes. And so, you know, maybe you can kind of catch these guys being a little bit lackadaisical. You know, you glitch the box and you still, but, you know, maybe there might be a better reason. You know, I would like to know in the comments.
Yeah, for sure. It's a very good point. Definitely something that's always good to learn a little bit more about that high level play of kind of the strategies employed in play by these teams here. But that was a wonderful best of one. And so that has actually brought us to what I would call the halfway point, but is definitely a very, very askew halfway. As we make our way on into phase 2 shortly, we're going to go to a little bit of an intermission here. We're going to go ahead and chill out for just a couple minutes here, get ourselves settled in, get these matches primed and ready to go so we can be great and jump right on into the next matches for our next phase 2. And we'll go ahead and start off with an explanation, just kind of what our game plan is for the last couple games of this qualifier day. So we'll see you all very shortly, folks. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back here. We've got our beautiful phase 2 starting up here very shortly here as we've got our private match ready to start up here. We're going to go ahead and jump ourselves on into this game, but while this game is loading up, we're going to go take a look at our standings here just so you guys can get a quick vibe check to see what the heck is going on over here. So on our at the beginning here, we've got our two cash out games that are starting up here. We've got cash out this first round is going to be the one that we are watching here between Foolish, Seismic, Z&D, and Admin. And then the other round is going to be Glitch, Pulsar, Gamers, and Pata. That'll be happening kind of simultaneously here. And then for the final round, I think what we're going to do, we might switch on over to the bottom bracket, but we might follow this one all the way through here. We'll probably follow this through, and then we'll go ahead and watch this losers of the winners play here, and we'll go from there, and then we can go ahead and explain a little bit deeper to the last couple of matches here into our final best of 3 for the final bits of our phase 2. But that's enough speaking here from me as we go ahead and bring ourselves on into this beautiful game with this wonderful map that we haven't seen yet. jumping on in to
The battle commence.
the beautiful map that I've already forgotten, but we're about to see right now. Oh, Fortune Stadium.
I love Fortune Stadium, and right here, if you aren't familiar, right here, the best way to get up on this height right here, which it doesn't seem like what's happening, is you get your light player, he puts a gateway up there, and then that way you still have a jump pad to play with. But as we're seeing, it seems like Z&D is getting their health kind of taken away from him. We got the medium going down. We got light. He's absolutely one shot right now. The heavy has full bars. They're kind of playing together. It's a 3v2.
This is what it's all about, partner.
I'm loving this entry that we're having from Julio and them.
Yeah, well, it's interesting to note this cash out has just gotten opened now. It's taking a long time to get that cash out started, but or that vault, pardon me, and it looks like vault 2 was already open, but it seems to be relatively inconsequential. Both these sides of the maps haven't actually wiped each other yet, and so it looks like this is just a little bit of a stall happening while they try to kind of move themselves forward here. Stumbling over my own words here. On the other side of the map, we did go down to a 1v1 here with Keizo in control, and Keizo coming out on top here, but down to Shadow, the last member of Z&D, trying to see if he can get any work done. Maybe just choosing to stay alive here, seeing if he can get some shots, but he doesn't. Arekis might have been able to spot him out there. I'm not sure if that's exactly what has happened, and it very well was, because it looks like Julio has decided with a great winch and a great frag to wipe him out. Julio or
It seemed
Julio
like
has done it.
Yeah, it seemed like a very long kind of play by Z&D. I was surprised they either didn't wipe or res sooner. You know, I thought maybe they were going to have, you know, their medium coin in. And then once they weren't coining in, I was like, okay, are they going to try to rotate and get a res? And then that didn't happen. And then when everybody but the light died, I was like, why not the light just jump off the edge, you know?
Yeah, I mean,
it's kind of interesting.
Interesting strats here, but I am shocked to find a minigun come out of all guns here. I have not expected to see that choice of all things to choose from here on our team of Foolish. Team Foolish maybe being a little too foolish with their picks, but maybe they have a strat and they're just better and we just don't know about it. I mean, it is an absolute mesh shredder in this meta, so it could get a lot of value out of it, especially being able to hide behind your dome shield here. Isaac is looking for something here, but his team's able to take space, able to push them off the high ground here as Admin is pushed back just a little bit. And they're going to go ahead and go for the steal.
Finally, somebody riding. You know, not everybody's been riding the steal. You know, it wasn't able to work out, but at least we saw somebody trying it. And I'm pretty sure they set up another drop. They did.
Oh, the jump head drop is a great play here. He's not able to find that jump pad, Isaac. He's trying to find it somehow. I think that's the last drop that he's going to be able to do. And so it looks like this fight is going to have to happen soon. And high ground has been reclaimed, and now it's going to be an uphill battle. Down goes Control. Last two members here just a little bit alive. Down goes one, down goes two. The res and not enough, and that's the wipe.
Man, that was fundamental. As soon as you hit the drop, you just rotate back up top and you catch them, you know, from above them. You know, it is classic. It works every time.
Absolutely.
It pretty much is undefeated if you're a good team. Now, if we want to check over here, it looks like Bandits have. Dominic just got quick res. Keizo's almost have. But it looks like they're able to not able to steal that. You know, it seemed like ZD was able to hold that off. That was very nice work by them.
Yeah, looks like Z&D is able to hold on to that cash out and hold on to their lives in some capacity. This fight continues to move on forward. Great glitch and great movement here from Keizo as he's trying to see if he can get work done with this M11. Just absolute shreddage is not enough. He's down to no HP. Wow, that is just high-level finals on both sides of that equation there. Both of those players just doing the absolute maximum they possibly can. And there's the wipe coming through here onto Seismic.
It looks like there might be a big old fight happening between Z and D and Admin over there. If we want to go over and check this out.
Let's go ahead and check this out.
Seems like Zoo is dead. He ended up getting rezzed. Well, let's see what's about to happen.
great early damage here coming out from admin team here, looking like to see if
the
they can
light
get something.
barely escapes by the skin of his teeth.
Oh, and down he goes, unfortunately, and that steal is going to commence and begin, but he's going to go ahead and give up here as a third party even is coming through. This is a very bold play here. This could work in the favor of Team Foolish, but not enough because they are able to get that steal through, and they're going to get caught up in that third party gameplay there. And do I actually see Z&D joining the fray as well? Maybe a little bit, especially with their cash out being so close and nobody fighting it. They're going to probably be interested in seeing what's going on, and it looks like they're already thinking about it already. As Isaac posted up with his minigun, seeing if he can do so much work. He's only got so many bullets to his name. As the res comes through, his control is able to get that res up for his teammate of Optus. As they're down to low HP here on Seismic. Down to no HP.
About to get the heavy.
He gets taken down. He's going to get quick res, and that glitch just almost stops that res. As he's able to get the res.
Isaac needs to play his life. I think they need to rotate up on top if they're able to find their health.
And down goes control, unfortunately, and they still are. They unfortunately are not holding control at this point. So now they're going to have quite a difficult battle here, especially with Keizo being the last alive on his team. He's probably not able to get too much done in this 1v3, just kind of waiting for those coins as they come through. And it looks like Control and Isaac have opted to wait for Optus and make their way on over to another cash out, perhaps, because this one on C is just not enough time for them to really get good work done as they make their way on over here. This is going to be yet another third party hell here as Keizo kind of caught out by himself, finding the whole rest of his team, but the rest of his team are not too far behind Seismic.
Control out of hills, not really going to be able to play the support role. Are they going to maybe want to take this fight, you know, kind of ruin the momentum, or, you know, are they want to try to dive in there and try to get that steal? It looks like they're going to go for the ladder.
Yeah, it's going to be really difficult, especially with that time just kind of cranked away. They got stalled once again on that third party. It just takes up so much time sometimes, and it really just loses you a cash out like that. But on the other side of the map, it looks like that third partying team has decided to go ahead and move this money forward with just 2 minutes on the board, especially with not too much money to their name. They're going to go for Vault 5 and maybe even Vault 6, but Keizo's kind of caught out a little bit here as we try to switch on over to him. He is able to stay alive just barely with inches of his health left. As the rest of this team try to push up on him, Team Admin's pushing up on Seismic. The whole rest of the team comes through, and down goes one, down goes a trade, followed right back close behind. And the res is coming through, but it isn't enough to finish that frag.
Dominic,
just
kind of fragging out right now.
Absolutely great damage coming from, and great kill from Keizo onto Julio NA. As the last member of his team, Ball Munched, is here. Optus is going to go ahead and move that money. But he might be caught out quite painfully here, especially with Keizo jumping in, trying to get some frags, but he is a little bit confused, trying to do an early jump. Not enough, and a great frag.
Yes,
from
and the
Optus,
trade happens.
followed by a quick trade, so that might not be enough for his team to save him. See if we can find where the rest of his team is. It's absolutely like across the universe map here. Not sure what the strat is. It looks like they're trying to stop Shadow being the last member of his team for that plug, and fortunately not enough to stop that plug. It looks like they're going to go for that fight anyways a little bit. They seem a little bit split up, and they might even go for a steal here, which is a pretty bold play, but honestly there's nobody here to stop them. Shadow going for that glitch grenade, is able to stop it, but there's nobody able to follow that up, and there's nothing to back it up with. And here's the menacing third party.
Here comes Admin for the third party. This is exactly what happens in these, you know, final cash rounds. You know, I feel like we see a lot more third party happen in the very last cash box. You know, whether it's ranked, World Tour, or even tournaments, it seems like this is kind of the norm.
Absolutely, yeah, it's a very good point. It does seem like that, and these teams kind of collapse in on each other, and it looks like there's a little bit of a free cash out on the longer one that's almost done. Well, just a little bit further ahead. Actually, pardon me, I don't even think either of them are further ahead by very much at all, as Bombunch gets taken down. And
gets caught up on that door. That was very unfortunate.
This is a very close money-wise, because a single team wipe is actually devastating to these teams, because there's like a $2,000 difference between the top 3 teams, maybe even 3,000 difference between the top 4. As an attempt steal comes through, that C4 might be causing problems. As he goes through that steal, is he able to stop Dominic? He is able to get that
and he
kill,
gets
and the
it!
steal comes
Wow!
through. Oh my gosh!
He was holding that off by himself, and it wasn't enough. The 1v2 was not that good of an idea.
Wow, what a heart-stopping final second. What a great choice from admin, making the administrative decision to move on over to the other cash box, which wasn't even contested. I'm gobsmacked, Sudden. That was insane.
I know. That was a good last minute, the good audible right there. You realize that you're kind of in a losing fight. There's too many people over there. And I think what they saw was there might have been a couple of that team hanging out over there by that cash box. And I think they were like, you know what? Maybe we can run our ones over there. There has to be at least 1, if not 0 people over there. We're going to go take our chance. Maybe they got a little bit too cocky, and it seemed like they did.
Yeah, I mean, wow, that was just absolutely crazy. Let's go ahead and make our way on over towards the standings as they get updated here in real time. See what's going on over here. So our top 2 teams from that lobby, which I didn't even pay attention to, if I'm being honest, but I think we might have. We don't have any screenshots out here just yet for top 2. And as we get those that info here filled out, we will see. We will see a nice final round here, best of 1 final round. This is going to be very interesting. As these maps get pulled out here together, it looks like we've got ZND and admin here on the top 2 teams from that cash out. As we wait for the other cash out here to commence or to finish out here, pardon. We will go ahead and take a look into this final round here, but we just gonna have a little bit of a slow play here as we wait for this other game to go ahead and finish up. I'm sure it's on its way as well. Looking to see when that will finish up here. I'm very excited to see what will happen next. Unfortunately,
Can you remind us of those teams?
Yeah. So those teams, which I think we are looking at them right now, we are. Those teams that we've got here that are in that other cash out lobby here, we've got Glitch, Pulsar Gaming, Gamers, and Pada. And those teams are probably on their way through finishing their final little bits of that cash out to decide who gets knocked back to another cash out round and who gets to fight for the glory of getting another qualified spot here.
Yeah, I'm interested. I kind of want Gamers to win simply because we haven't really had them here on the stream tonight.
Yeah.
But we've seen Glitch. They ended up beating Phantom in that 3v3 earlier. We saw Pulsar at the very beginning, and then we saw Pada just before this full cash out. So maybe we can see some Gamers. Maybe that'll happen. Maybe they'll be able to lock in. I know Pulsar, very big team. They're signed. Pro team. They got Oppo as the coach. I know a lot of people are rooting for them. Pada has a lot of fans out there. So this is gonna be cool to see. I'm sure the fans want any good games going on right now. But I know Gamers have been mentioned several times throughout tonight, so maybe they'll be able to pull through to where we can see them on stream.
Definitely, that would be very exciting to see if we can get these Gamers pulled through. I'm just gonna, while we're waiting here, I guess I should go ahead and take a browse here of our chat to see kind of what's going on here. How you guys doing, chat? I know we have a 1-minute delay here. Sunivari, nice. Thanks for coming by. Spectator is looking good these days. I do my best to spectate to the best ability that I have here. The team names overlay is distracting. Noted. We'll see if we can move that around just a little bit here. We are currently looking at all of these teams here. Good to see you guys. Good to see some familiar names. Thank you so much, all those guys who have followed over the past couple hours. I see all those. I see you guys. Much appreciates the follows. Now I just sound like a Twitch streamer now. That's boring. We got to be a production manager. As we wait just a little bit longer here, this lobby should be finishing up here shortly. I expect not much more time going forward.
Yeah, I mean, chat. Who do y'all think? Who's y'all's favorites to win? You know, who do you think is like maybe some underdogs who've been doing well tonight? Who's like some kind of like no brainers that yeah they're doing exactly what they plan to do. You know, nobody really doubted them. You know, who's y'all's teams? Who's y'all's players in this fight?
Yeah, has there been
Curious to know.
any teams you've been rooting for that have been just absolutely pulled their way through to a quick victory, or any teams that you've seen that you think just kind of got a little unlucky, or even maybe a little bit lucky here? Buff the minigun is a crazy comment. I mean, maybe honestly that would be very interesting tech to see the minigun come back into the meta, especially with mesh. I think that'll be there's a chance that that's a healthy counter to mesh, believe it or not. That's actually such an interesting thought. I really haven't thought of that before. What do you think about that as an interesting counter to mesh here, Sudden?
I mean, it definitely makes sense. The more bullets, the easier it is for the mesh shield to go down. I know as like a medium main myself, whenever I'm running the repeater, sometimes it's kind of disheartening when I'm like having 1v1 against a mesh. You know, I'm just having to like pick. But you know, it's nice when you have the P90. It's nice when you have, you know, any of the LMGs on top of the minigun. But I mean, I think we saw a little bit of a buffed minigun when it first came out, and you know, I didn't necessarily go against it a whole lot. I think in the right hands, it can be overpowered. But you know, I wouldn't mind it. You know, it would change up the gameplay some. You know, I feel like it didn't really sit in the meta for too long, and so I think you know I kind of missed it. You know, I didn't really go against it a lot. I think the BFR was still. I think at that point the BFR was out. But I mean, yeah, it'd be nice. It'd be a nice change of pace. You know, like I think a good automatic meta would be a good change of pace maybe this next season. I think we've had quite a bit of a precision meta for quite a long time. I think it'd be nice to have like FCAR AK back in the scene. I think it would be nice to have like yeah, like the minigun. I know some people are using the Lewis or the M60. I personally don't like it, but you know, maybe we buff those a little bit. You know, maybe we buff. No, we don't need to buff the ARN. The ARN is doing just fine. But
The ARN is definitely in a solid, comfortable spot where it's at now.
so Aztrek seems like he's going for strafes because he slept with him at the major. That seems like a spicy room right there. Waiting for the BO2. I think it's a BO, yeah, BO1. Team Ignite did so well. Team Ignite definitely was going crazy. They definitely did what they needed to do. Gamers is running minigun. Interesting. I'm excited. Maybe they'll pass. I kind of want to see what they're going to do.
Yeah, that would be really awesome. So we're just gonna go ahead and get some stuff figured out here.
Every time you read BO1 or BO3, you think of Black Ops way before Best of. I know. I kind of get that too. I kind of think of that also. We're trying to get out of that COD brain though. We need to get out of COD brain, guys. Like as good as BO1 through BO3 was, like we got to get Call of Duty out of our brains. You know, they've been such a disappointment. FCAR will be relevant again when shields get nerfed or glitch get buff. I know. I've been really enjoying the FCAR as a medium, man. You know, it's never going to be what season 1 or what was it? Was it beta FCAR that it was like fucking insane? I think it was, or like season 1, but you know, it'd be nice if FCAR does reach relevance again. As much as I love the repeater, I mean, I love the repeater. It's very fun. It was, you know, similar enough to the Pike, but like I don't know, it's fun. You got to hit your shots. If you don't hit your shots, it's not fun. But if you do, you can really have some like crazy good clips.
Yeah, absolutely. That's for sure. As we get ourselves set up here for our next match ahead of us.
Shield meta is too good, which is why Luce is coming into meta. Has enough bullets to pop shields and get a kill. That is true. That is true. But I know a lot of people, you know, especially like some of the OG shield users, you know, SA shield is a, you know, it's like it's like a tango, you know, it's kind of like a dance. You know, when you go against another shield SA user, it's like it kind of is like rhythmic and stuff. It's very fun to watch, but you know, most people aren't super confident, I feel like, with the essay. You know what I've noticed in games, but the people who are, they seem to be able to kind of control their own way.
All right.
Oh yeah, it seems like we have teams Z and D. We're going to be running it back to Fortune Stadium.
Ye old Fortune Stadium. We'll get another fresh look at Fortune Stadium here once again before we switch maps again for this next set. So this is actually going to only be a BO1 here. For determining the slots of qualifying this is the next qualifying slot here up in the air to be used.
So correct me if I'm wrong, but just because you lose this match doesn't mean you're out of the tournament, correct?
Yeah, so you lose this match, you will not be knocked out just yet. You will actually have, well, actually, these are not even knockout BO1s. These are qualification BO1s only. So winner is going to qualify, loser is going to go to the next one to get another chance to qualify here, and then the loser of that is going to go to the next one to get another chance to qualify. So all right, well, I think we are getting ourselves ready to go here for this next match here right in front of us.
Yeah, looks like both teams are ready. We're going to be loading back into Fortune Stadium. Standard issue, clear night, no game show. You know, just straight up gun versus gun, ability versus ability, equipment versus equipment.
Yeah, for sure. This is going to be an interesting match here ahead of us. Best of one makes it a little bit more pressured here, unfortunately, just due to time constraints. We can't exactly stream all night here, but we are getting ourselves loaded on into this game here, this wonderful Fortune Stadium. All right, this game is about to commence here as we jump ourselves on in. This is a best of one.
All right, the live, the boundless, and they are off.
Oh,
Right.
right.
What do you kind of want to see out of this BO3? You know, we've seen Z and D. We know that they can win.
Well, this is a best of one, just to clarify.
Hasn't been shaken or stirred. It's a
Yeah, what do you kind of expect out of this? Like, do you think that they're gonna kind of
Man.
foot to the pedal? Do we think
You
there's
know,
gonna be a lot
honestly,
more slower pace fights?
This could go either way here as these teams going to go ahead and commence, and it looks like Z&D has opted for a much faster team play, especially opening that vault so early and just continuing to hold domination. I'm not really sure. I was kind of thinking that there's a chance that admin kind of dominates this lobby, but after seeing an early team fight, I think this could go either way. These teams are both just absolutely great teams. Z&D has been an incredibly dominating force, but definitely not the #1 top team. Definitely a top team, so there's a chance they can get it done. Unfortunately, Areki's is going to take Evade down.
We've just witnessed the first elimination of this match. I'm sure there's more.
And not even a polite hello before they got started.
Well, Scotty, sometimes
As we continue forward here, looks like we've got a couple of trades coming through as they look for these last player here. Shadow is the last alive. He might be able to catch out Julio alive. He is able to take him down. The trade might be coming through. Is it enough? The dashes. He's down to 1 HP. As he continues forward, he's able to get that res off. He's able to get another res off. they are able to fully reset here, as they are going to go ahead and fully reset. Looking for that high ground. They are able to get that fully steeled off. I didn't even actually realize that steel coming through is great for them as they're going to hold on to this point. They might be able to get that winch. Missing is huge for them, unfortunately, as Julia was able to stay alive.
I think what's best for them, they just kind of, after that, they just got to rotate, get back up. You know, there's no need to rush into this. There's 15 seconds left. They just need to play drop. I think this is very smart for them just to retreat back to the high duel, especially for 3v2.
Yeah, definitely, for sure. It looks like Zeus is going to go ahead and go for this point. That C4 right into that gas is going to cause a lot of problems for this team, as Julio is able to get a nice lot of damage off. He is taken down. That goose stall is absolutely magnificent. He jumps in, but Areki's taken down. That's just enough time to win them. That cash out is incredible.
Live wires are playing for keeps. They've snagged the matches.
As this point gets opened up here once again by ZND, like I said earlier, they were just keeping that pressure forward, moving the match forward further and further. And it looks like admin have opted to make their way on over and play a little bit of a cutoff strat.
Yeah, kind of playing this sector building, you know, is like very, very good on this type of rotation. You know, they just get to move on any point of the map where they want to. You know, they just gotta wait for them to kind of make a decision, because you know they already scored that first cash out. If they want to, they can hold them for 16 minutes. You know, this is like their playground at this point. But so they just have to wait for them to make a decision. You know, are they going to maybe lose a life trying to rotate this? Like, you know, what is their plan? But it looks like they're going to get that God zip. They're going to move over to A. And they all, like, you know, they all use their, they get their lives. You know, he may have used his dome shield, but they're able to move. The medium, though, is going down.
Great.
He was not really able to retake health.
Yeah, great frag and pick from Ball Munch Tears. He's able to take down Invade, gets taken down as well.
We might have a light going up on top. He's able to help.
Watch out!
Support the fight, get him some help. Looks like Shadow's maybe trying to fight. I'm not quite sure. He's not really going to be able to play stall. I think if he needs to, at this point, he just needs to play his life, let his teammates respawn in, and then they attack as a team.
Yeah, so they're going to get that reset off as they get that coin out.
I'm going down there. I'm gonna go down to there.
It looks like they get that reset here.
A contestant is collecting eliminations one after another.
They're going to have to jump in here. This is the last point here available here for this game, possibly, if this team's able to hold it here. Admin, there's that glitch that you talked about earlier you were looking out for, and that is able to do a ton of stalling, but that was able to take the flip, which is incredible work here.
Flip it!
That is incredible work to get that steal.
Half, you know, Shadow is by himself once again. He's able to get a little bit of progress from him.
That goo could be enough to stall it in that SA, just keeping him going. Shadow is the last alive. He's just gonna have to keep making work done here. There's a gas canister in front of him, but there's the coined man behind him. Is that enough to stop it? I don't know if it is.
It was not.
There's no coin.
And just like that, guys, admin takes the game. You know, they qualify.
That is an
ZD,
incredibly
they still have
quick
the opportunity
match
to qualify later on.
from admin. That is a convincing fashion here from admin, but I mean, I can't say it was without fight. Shadow was just absolutely dominating the leaderboard on his team for sure, so it could have been anywhere. So let's go ahead and look on over towards our standings once again, just to continue to get familiar. So as we have shown here, once again, we've just finished out our next round of what BO1s for our 3v3s here. We've got another BO1 here coming up for another qualification spot. This is another great spot to look for. And then we've got this cash out that will be happening simultaneously, and then we're going to jump right back in for this next BO1, and then we'll have it followed up by one final BO3, best of 3. Very excited to see that. As we get ourselves set up here for this match.
Yeah, man. What a honestly great games that we've been having. Yeah, and it looks like Pulsar and Glitch ended up, fighting on that second phase. Glitch ended up passing through. And so it looks like Z&D and Pulsar are going to be playing in the next best of one. Is that correct?
Yep, that's right. They will be playing for this next best of 1 to try to secure themselves a spot. Once again, this qualification spot here is up for the grabs for this team.
And this is this an elimination game
No,
as well?
not
Or
at all. This is not an
simply-
elimination game. This is simply they will have one more chance to qualify. Once again, the loser of this team. So honestly, being stuck in phase 2 is a phenomenal place to be, because if you're able to win that first cash out, you're set up for 3 attempts. Losing that cash out does make it a little bit more difficult for you, but having so many attempts to qualify is just really nice quality of life to have.
Yeah, and I think, this kind of solidifies, as I said earlier, just because you lose a couple times doesn't mean you're out. This bracket kind of helps lift up, the teams who are struggling, and helps, verify the teams who are winning. So it's like, it's a good balance. This is fairly similar to the bracket that they did at the major closed qualifiers and the actual major itself in Stockholm.
Yes, absolutely. All right, we're getting ourselves set up here as we got this match pretty much ready to go here.
Yeah, we got Pulsar versus ZND. Pulsar, correct me if I'm wrong, a quote unquote, professional signed team. Pulsar, I think, is out of the UK, right? And they have an American branch, I believe. But I'm pretty sure Pulsar is out of England. But we got Oppo, we got Sparrow, we got Pure Strafes. I think Oppo is actually stepping in. He's stepping in for Brutal Logic, which Brutal Logic, very, very good player. But it's cool seeing a coach being able to sub in and still kind of work with his team and play, fairly up to the level as his players. But
Yeah,
we're going to be
absolutely.
running it back to Sister Horizon, Clear Night, Standard Issue, no game show. Best of 1. We're going to see who comes out on top between Z&D and Pulsar.
Yeah. All right. So this game is going to be starting up here shortly. All right. Waiting to see if we got all teams ready, as they look like they're going to go ahead and get themselves prepared here. Okay, looks like all our teams are ready to go on this wonderful. We're running it back here on the wonderful map of Sis Horizon. As our game gets loaded on up. Alrighty here. We're going to pull ourselves on into the game early just to kind of see what's going on. Our wonderful Moolah Monday. Just got a couple of games left ahead of us here. This is a qualification game. If you win this, you will be qualified. If you lose, you won't have to worry too much. You got yet another attempt ahead of you.
The Boundless.
No, I'm excited to see us through. I mean, Z&D, they've kind of been showing that they deserve that spot. But Pulsar, I know they're going to be trying harder, if not equally as hard, to show that they have, you know, they have the gunny, they have the comms, they have the game plan.
Absolutely.
You know, they are signed. You know, these guys, they are top 50 almost every single season. You know, they're gonna show why they're top 50.
Absolutely. This is a pretty big dog match, if I'm being honest. The fact that these guys lost a couple games is very unfortunate. I guess that kind of really goes to show the just level of players that we have in these matches. These teams, I honestly, personally want both of them to qualify, but I'm looking at that cash out with Foolish, Seismic Gamers, and Pata. All of those guys, most of those guys, pretty much any of those guys I would love to see qualified as well, but we only have 1, 2, 3 spots left, I think, for qualification across these 5 teams. So they're going to have to kind of squish on in a little bit tight. It's going to be difficult, but both of these teams here do have another chance if they are going to lose this match, which should hopefully give them a little bit of solace here. Even though it is a best of 1, you do get another attempt, even though it will be against a different team.
Yeah, ZD making the pretty good. Wow, and a long-range shack kill by Oppo. I think that was a honestly great.
Wow, great winch to try and hit that.
Strategy. I think that was a great strategy by ZD to try to, you know, stay up
What
top.
an RPG!
Wow!
Oh, he's so close. He's on 1 HP. Shadow might be getting caught out by Appo here with just the 1 health, and there's not even a wipe. He gets the coin. Actually, no, I believe Evade has been up the whole time. I'm not sure if he's even gone down. He had that winch off and fell down and was just kind of stuck. Appo just no HP. He's just showing absolute masterclass with that shack. What an incredible weaponry work.
Yeah, that was absolutely I think a full team wipe by Oppo. I know there's probably at least 1 quick res in there, but man, that was great domination right there. You know, that's what we like to see out of Pulsar. This is what they know that they can bring to the scene, is pure domination. We'll see how Z&D is able to respond to that. Which, I mean, honestly, I liked how Z&D stayed in the center. They let them move, but they weren't really able to, you know, capitalize on having center map position. They kind of got put on their heels and they paid the price for it.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a very good point. I mean, it's just incredible movement here showing from Pulsar as the fight goes ahead and commences here, but they've got that high ground Pulsar do, and so that's going to make it really difficult for this team to try and make their way through. They're going to go ahead and continue to stick on the low ground, Z&D, just to see if they can bring the cash out down, see if they can get some work done, but they are slowly making their way up the staircases, looking for that jump pad, seeing if they can make contact. The RPG is not getting any value. Now they're stuck with a C4 end of Orange Barrel on the point. Looking for that winch, unable to connect with that winch on Sparrow. Sparrow's able to just stay alive, just barely there, eking his life away against that heavy of Evade. Interesting strategy with that Red Barrel, doesn't get enough work done. Jumping in there with that SA-12 is getting so many value out of it, but he's out of bullets. Gonna go for that winch, is taking down Appo, and Appo's stall has been just more than enough to completely clear that cash out for that team.
Yeah, it seemed like there was some, you know, maybe some jitters in play there, because it seemed like, you know, he went to maybe go still, and so he immediately, you know, he pre-threw that shield, and then he realized that there was a C4 on it with a red barrel, and, you know, he tried shooting the C4, he didn't throw the barrel, You know, there's a lot going on. You know, maybe not the right plays being made, but you know, Pulsar ends up taking that first caps box. Z&D ends up kind of getting rid of their momentum, but I don't know if it's going to get rid of their confidence. Let's see what happens with 2 as they seem to be playing it towards C.
Wow, a very bold play from Sparrow, jumping through that teleporter on his own. He gets a winch. He's able to just barely geek away with his life. I cannot believe he does, because that winch and that SA-1216 can shred a light like it's nobody's business. As Apo and his team begin to close in here on this cash out here.
Yeah, let's see, you know, Sparrow, he's kind of by himself. He's gathering some information like the light does. You know, the light's kind of like a scout class. Oppo getting in there, he gets some good damage in. Stripes is able to get some trades going on. Is he able to get Oppo's? No, he sees that the heavy's right there. He's gonna be able to get, wow, Oppo's trophy goes sending.
No! That could be huge. The trophy
And the
gets launched
Stripes get
away.
caught.
That's completely ruined their strategy of
Wow.
reset. And now it's just Sparrow left alive, and he doesn't have control of his box, so he's going to have a hard fight ahead of him as he is able to play his life, and he's able to deter any and all further attempts at the stealing, or at the further chasing, with just one left on that team.
Yeah, but he's going to get Oppo into the fight. He throws the gateway. He gets Oppo in there quick. You know, it's a 2v2. Full health on both sides. C&D about half health on both. They're getting them weak.
Low HP. Evade
Zeus
is the
goes
last
down.
alive here. This is
Evade
going to be...
so close.
He is able to wait for Shadow to get that res off, and he's going to need to stall this because this steal is such a problem. If he's going to not get stalled out, he's going to have to wait for his team and the reses to come through. Sparrow does take Shadow down. It's back to Evade once again. This is 40 HP and a dream for this qualification spot, and it's not looking great. So he gets aggroed everywhere, just trying to play his life to the best of his ability, throwing everything and the kitchen sink against the wall here, trying to just stay alive while his team coins in for this cash out, which doesn't look like it's going to be going their way very shortly, and that is going to be the round in the favor of Pulsar Gaming for that first best of one here.
Wow. And yeah, what a good best of one that was. I mean, Pulsar showing who they are, you know, domination. They have the gameplay, they have the macro, they have the micro. They're just able, you know, to kind of set the pace of the game, kind of no matter who they are playing. It's very nice. It's very fun to see them play. You know, they got their coach in. Oppo's a very, very good player. Very, very big brain finals player. Even though they may not have Brutal Logic in there, who you know, is their starter, you know, having Oppo as a backup is a big flex in and of itself. But wow, what congratulations Pulsar for qualifying.
Yeah,
We're
that's
gonna.
huge.
I mean, and we're not saying goodbye to Z&D yet. You know, we have more games. You know, it's gonna be fun. I think we got a. Who's next?
Well, as our leaderboard is just kind of getting touched up here and updated here for the final last bits here of our games, we are not saying goodbye to Z&D, not even a little bit. We've got that cash out game that was happening simultaneously has finished up, it looks like, and we've got Seismic and Pada were the two teams that were able to kind of eke out on top for that cash out and bring themselves in once again to yet another attempt at another attempt of trying to qualify. And so we're just going to have to tune in onto that game, and we're going to see how that game's going to happening. And then after that game, we'll have a nice little BO3 for the loser of that game and Z&D. So I'm very excited to see what happens next.
Yeah, congratulations Pulsar for qualifying. That they absolutely dominated. That was awesome. Good job. Good job Oppo. Good job Sparrow. Good job Champ, my boy Pure Strafes. He's trying so hard not to, you know, kind of seem biased on, you know, on stream, but you know, that is my boy. Love Strafes.
Yeah,
He's
absolutely.
my boy. I won a tournament with him. Me, him, and Traffy. We won a tournament. It was very fun. Love him for that. But man, so we're gonna see see a return of familiar faces right here. You know, we got Pata, we got Mr. Tender, we got Grazeev, we got Clarify. Clarify absolutely going crazy last game that we saw them on stream. He absolutely was winning his ones, and he was had a couple of 1v3 dubs that we saw. And it looks like they are going against Team Seismic. Seismic, if you are ever familiar with them, there's another little tournament series that's going on called FCL Finders Contender League, and they're one of the teams, and they've been doing pretty well. So it's nice to see them doing pretty well again in this tournament series. It's kind of showing their adaptability to different bracket systems, to different levels of gameplay, different teams, and not just showing them that they're able to play well against the same teams over and over again.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, this night has just been absolutely exceptional as far as the gameplay goes. It's been an incredible thing to watch this play out, and we've just got a couple more games left, 4 games left for the night here as we get ready to wrap up. We've got our 2 teams. We've got Pata and Seismic that are going to go ahead and be gearing up for this best of 1 coming up here very shortly as we get ourselves prepared. And I'm excited to see this match. I don't think we've seen too much out of either of these teams. We have seen them both on both a little bit, I think, through some various games tonight, but we haven't seen too much of them. So I'm very excited to see how these teams are going to play out.
Yeah, we both seen them on the big screen. We haven't seen them, I think, more than once. So it's going to be cool seeing them. I don't think they've even played each other yet. But I just want to say thank you, V, for bringing me up on stream. You know, I know I'm not the caster in rotation, but I'm glad to be a cool substitute. You know, like I've been having fun casting for FCL. You know, I've casted for the Murph tourneys. You know, I've done watch parties for the majors. You know, it's been fun. You know, I'm enjoying casting. I love competing. You know, that was kind of my thing. I'm like, you know, I love competing. Casting, I know a lot of people are enjoying me with my mustache, with me dressing up and my mug. But man, like, it's kind of fun being back casting, you know, kind of taking a little bit of a break of competing. It's been fun just like breaking down situations, watching my friends succeed. It's been fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It has. Thank you. Yeah, well, I'm glad that you could join us here as we get this game about to start on up here. Thank you so much for coming out here. We really appreciate you joining us here. I'm a big fan of FCL as well myself, coming from being a caster over there as well. Definitely a league worth checking out. A little bit more organized, a little bit more people on board as well, which helps a lot because I'm not exactly the most production-centered person. I'm just a big fan of yapping away at the finals. So this has been an interesting night, that's for sure, but it's been fantastic otherwise as these teams kind of get in here and start doing some fighting here. It looks like we've got Tinder back on that SA-1216, who was running Shaft previously, so very interesting swap here as we do lose Seismic immediately off of the bat there.
Yeah, and as we see Clarify cleaning up, getting those kills like he did last time we saw him. It seems like, you know, Mr. Tinder is just able to get a lot of damage off. Clarify is able to kind of like sweep up those kills while Grazeev is, you know, giving hills out. Seems to be working in their favor a lot. They seem to have this strategy down. But man, like I think personally, from what I've seen, I think Clarify to me might be the best player we've seen throughout the tournament. He's challenging. You know, he has 150 health, but he acts like he has 350. It's been fun.
Yeah, it's actually a very good point. I have seen just exceptional performances from him on his team, and so it's going to be very exciting to see what more he can do with his bullets against these teams, especially if he's able to qualify his team on into this game, into this league, kind of see what goes, what happens further in and how he can perform against these high-level teams because there's so many good teams. This lock bolt instead of an RPG is such an interesting choice. It secures them in place, but it doesn't do any opening damage, and so it's hard to justify whether that trade-off is worth it. But it clearly is looking like it's worth it here with Mr. Tender getting so much work done and Keizo being the last alive on his team, taken down by Clarify, of course.
Yeah, and you know, whenever you have the SA, you know, you don't even necessarily need that RPG. You know, if you have that lock bolt, You put them all together because you know a lot of teams run together. You put that lock bolt down, you're going to put everybody, you know, in danger of that SA-15. SA-16? 15?
SA-12-16. Close enough.
SA-12. I didn't even get it right.
SA-15. There's 15 of them.
Checking my notes here.
16 bullets.
The Boundless
Oh,
need
wow,
to keep
great
their eyes peeled
pop
for
shot by Grizzy.
retribution.
Able
Yeah,
to get
he's
Keizo down to half.
gonna go ahead
Hitting
and
his heels, though.
play a little bit of an alternative angle here. Pretty spread out from his team. He might be able to get a lot of damage, especially with that jump pad coming through. And down goes Bandit
Bandit
immediately. And down goes Keizo against that. It's so hard to dash into an SA like that and just absolutely swiping the floor once again there. Hada is coming in strong this time, and so it'll be very interesting to see if they're going to continue forward with this momentum onto this next cash out.
Cash out of the match.
Yeah, it seems like they kind of are just setting the tempo. You know, it seems like they are just purely in control. They haven't, I don't even think, lost one fight yet.
The live wires
This is
are
going to be
back in
interesting
play.
to see
Let's
on the
see
rest of the
who can expect a
BO3
little
what happens.
payback. Ah, yes, the Boundless. I'm reloading.
Yeah, well, so I mean, this is the best of one, of course. But
Best of one.
whatever team loses will be able to continue on against Z&D and really have a nice best of 3 action here. So it'll be very interesting to see who's going to be continually put through the gauntlet here tonight.
Yeah, a little bit of slower paced action going right now. You know, it seems like they're like really trying to figure out what they want to do. He put down a gateway. I don't think he's going to use it.
The
He's going to
live wires
reset
have
the
a cash
gateway.
out in the works.
He's going to kind of move over by himself. He's going to try to figure out where these teams are, where this team is.
Enemy
He's going to kind of play that scout class. He's going to get some pings off. And then the medium heavy are going to get together. Probably use that pad. Probably use that lock bolt. And kind of do what they've been doing well. You know, just SA to head while he's getting hills. And then we're probably going to see Clarify end up sweeping up and getting those, you know, final kills off.
Yeah, very interesting spot here from Clarify as he just kind of chills and waits. He does spot out Keizo. He's able to get that glitch out as Graziv jumps on in there kind of by himself and Mr. Tender far behind. But he is able to clean up a little bit further. Dominic, the last alive on his team, just getting absolutely decimated. That that Lewis gun is just kind of getting diffed a little bit against this SA-12-16. I mean, that thing hits hard if you're able to play in this team-coordinated environment like this. There's going to be one more steal, one steal coming out, and there's only going to be one more attempt here for this team before they get knocked on down to the last best of 3.
I know, and you know, I'm
The live wires
going to be
are
fond of my
re-engaging.
FCL guys. I hope Seismic is able to do something, you know, miraculous here. But you know, maybe they can get a good quick wipe. You know, maybe they'll kind of catch him off guard. We'll see what happens right here. I see Keizo. He's kind of moving down. He's kind of getting some intel. He sees where the other light is. But we're going to see kind of how the medium and heavy are able to respond.
Clarify, almost caught off guard. Keizo's almost able to look for that pick, and now he's forced to teleport high ground, and now he's on a little bit of the back foot against Clarify. As he takes his fight, we have more fighting coming through. And down goes 2 more members of that team, and it looks like it's going to be a hard, not even a possibility anymore with that team wipe cleaning
3v1 by Mr. Tender.
Mr. Tender absolutely steamrolling the competition here tonight. What a quick match that we had today. So, we are going to be finally moving on to our final game here of the night. Final game is in, this will be a best of 3. This will be the final matchup that you guys will see tonight.
Yeah, congratulations, Bada, for qualifying, right? Or are they in the next?
So, congrats to Pada. Seismic will go next. All right. Yep. So, yeah, so that was a wonderful best of 1 that did appear in front of us. And then, So yeah, we'll get our matches set up here with ZND and Seismic as they get finished up here. So we do need a, let me see, get a little bit of info here. As we do a quick little check here.
You put that in commentator chat, by the way.
Oops. W. Hold on. Work with us here. And we do Z and D. We're waiting on a little bit of results of a coin flip here as we get our map selection in play. Gonna see, it was heads.
Yeah, don't worry, guys. You know, I am a guest caster, but it seems like, you know, from the feedback we've had today, I know next week, you know, it seems like we're going to get some questions answered, and next week will probably go a lot more smoother. You know, so tune in next week. I know it might be confusing with this bracket. I know, like, as soon as you look at it, it kind of seems confusing, and maybe there wasn't some good communication. But I think all the complaints have been heard, and it seems like the organizers are going to be, you know, taking account to what you are saying. You know, we see that the overlays are a little bit too big. We see that, you know, maybe there's not good communication with the bracket, with the BO1s and BO3s. But next week, you're going to see a lot more consistency probably throughout the rest of these Moolah Mondays.
All right, get our final round set up. Thank you for bearing with us here, folks, in our last map coming up ahead.
We got
We'll
Z&D
go ahead
versus
and
Pada.
just look at our bracket one final time here. Z&D versus Pada.
Two teams who have kind of been, you know, obviously they haven't qualified yet, but in most of the games that they've been playing, they've both been dominating. So this is going to be very, very fun. You know, it's a very good BO3. You know, last game, BO3, what more can you ask for? This is going to be very, very fun. Pada, you know, they got Gurzeev, you know, very, very straight shooters. But Z&D, you know, they've been working super, super well as a team. I'm very excited to see these two teams meet each other in the very last game of the qualifiers.
Yep. That's for sure. These teams are big hitters.
And it seems like we're running it back on Sis.
Yeah, exciting. We got the first map is going to be Sis Horizon. And our second map is going to be actually don't know. Let me double check what our second map is.
Construction Soul.
No, our second, that's our third map.
Pada? Okay. Sorry. It's pronounced Pada. Sorry, that's my bad. This is the first time I've heard the name. Or I'm just looking at it.
Pada. Thanks. That's good to know. I was just kind of vibing it.
Very good. You know, I want to call the teams, you know, how they are. You know, I don't want to embarrass the teams or, you know, make them mad or anything. Pada. Makes sense.
Chat kind of going crazy right now. It's definitely worth keeping in mind. This is a one-man show, give or take. I'm kind of just supporting here, trying to iron out the edges, but there's a lot of edges to iron out here tonight, and we brought along Sutton for a little bit of dragging through the mud here to have a little bit of fun. So we've just got our final round kind of starting up here very shortly here. We got one more player we're waiting on, and then we're going to go ahead and jump on into our final best of 3 that I'm very excited to see happening for these teams.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for bringing me on. You know, I've got some beers in me, watching some of my friends play, watching some people I don't know play, seeing some pros, seeing some underdogs. You know, we get a little bit of everything. You know, I know it's been a little bit of a tougher night, you know, for the players, but, you know, thank you for sticking with us. It's been fun. You know, hopefully I will get to, you know, guest appear again. You know, maybe we can, you know, have it a little bit more organized, but I think for tonight, you know, we're seeing what needs to be done. Thank you for sticking with us. You know, in this last game, I mean, this last BO3, it's going to be very, very fun.
Yes, I'm very excited to see this one play out.
And so it looks like, you know, it's from map 1, we're doing Sis, and then map 2, we're going to be going Vegas Stadium. And then depending if it's 1-1, map 3 will end on Nozomi Citadel. So it seems like, you know, 3 of the more popular maps for sure back to back. So, you know, there's going to be a lot of confidence in these games. You know, sometimes when you go into Seoul, into Monaco, you know, into Bernal, sometimes like a lot of teams like to avoid these, you know, and some teams like to purposely make sure that they're picked. You know, a lot of you know, confidence is key on some of these maps, and I know most people are confident when they go into assist, so we should see some good battles here.
Yes, I am very excited. This is going to be our final 3 games of the night, final matchup of the night as it's finally about to get commencing. Very excited to see how these games play out in front of us here.
Yeah, with it being the last matchup, you know, we might see a little bit more you know, reserved combat. You know, who knows? Like maybe some egos are shown. Maybe, you know, we see some like crazy, you know, gunslinging fights here. But I don't know. Sometimes I think when elimination is guaranteed, you might see some like slower paced fights. So let's see what happens here. It looks like Z&D is closer to the box. They're probably going to tap it.
The boundless are
They're probably going to get a high, and it seems like it's going to be about an equal playing ground against Receive, Tinder, and Clarify.
Yeah, already got our first contact of the match commencing here. I've almost got the jitters myself. Games are almost over. Kind of almost sad, but man, it's been a long play day, that's for sure. A long quality day. Unfortunate jump pad here coming out from ZND, trying to see if they can get some movement, but they get caught up in the air, looking to see if they can break that mesh shield down, getting lit to low HP, and the reverse counter ape is coming through as they try to get a bunch of work done. Shadow taking down to low HP, and so is Tinder as Tinder gets taken down in a 2v2. What an incredible damage output with that revolver, and Shadow clutching up on Clarify as well. Wow, that's that
was.
No, you can go ahead.
I was gonna say that was kind of great response. You know, taking that jump pad, getting shot down into half. You know, having your light, being able to have your back, and throwing the glitch as that. You know, as Pata. You know, they ended up challenging him.
Yeah,
you know,
I just that's
successful.
Such a promising look from ZND, especially with Clarify being so dominant in his light. Be able to win their ones against Clarify is just an incredible advantage to have. But they're gonna jump on in, try and make their way forward here, looking to see if they can maybe drop that box down, but I think they're gonna decide against it this time as they wrap.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's a couple different ways you can attack this. You can either go the stairs, you can go these outside windows, or you can go inside up top. But all three are easily defendable. But it looks like there's a big RPG by Mr. Tinder. He's going to go down to 2 bars, but he's getting some health back. He goes down. Clarify, 2 bars. He's last that's left, and he goes down.
Great positioning here by Shadow. I mean, he was literally there in the perfect spot to fight that medium right when he was trying to go for that defib, and he didn't even get a chance to really start priming that defib. He was just taken down so quickly with that V9S.
Yeah, and it looked like there was a glitch in there that kind of prevented a lot of that support being able to be utilized for Pata. But, you know, we're going to see them being able to respond. You know, they have almost about a quarters left, so they're going to have to kind of think of something quick. That they might have to go for the team wipe, which I think is possible. Good pick. Good pick. Clarify goes down, and he's a star on their team. You know, he's kind of the kill leader.
Absolutely. And there's another great pick coming from them, and Tinder being the last alive, getting taken down. So that's a wipe, and that's a secured first box here on map 1. We do have 2 more maps. Well, 1 more map, maybe 3, maybe 2, depending on how this best of 3 continues.
Yeah, and it's looking like Z&D is kind of controlling the pace of this game. You know, I want to see. You know, I know Pata is able to, you know, dominate pretty well. So, you know, I think they're going to be able to see what Z&D has been doing and maybe being able to respond correctly.
Yeah, here they are. They're going to go ahead and play that higher ground. They might be able to get a great advantage here on this team. They're going to RPG it down, use their RPG to take that forward, because that C4 might not have been able to been enough to stop that teleport from going through. But the contact has been made, and this SA-1216 is in this effect. So it's the SA versus the Shack. It'll be very interesting to see how these teams are able to fight themselves here on this map. And great damage onto Evade.
Evade
as he's down to 1 HP, and that heal gun is forced to come out, and he's not able to do as much damage, but it's a great compliment with that heal gun that Revolver is, because it's able to just dish out that quick damage and then be stuck back in the healing cycle. Down goes Mr. Tinder. 2 left on the team as Shadow gets taken to low HP as well. They try to heal themselves back up, and with all their players alive, they have infinite heals to their disposal within the quick time that they have. With Grazzy being the last alive here, is Clarify getting taken down. He's able to get a lot of good damage, but not enough.
Yeah, it seems like maybe they're losing a little bit of confidence, maybe losing a little bit of steam. Hopefully they take, you know, this next 15 seconds to regroup, kind of, you know, make sure their mental's not chalked. You know, try to have a little game plan, maybe realize, you know, what they're kind of doing wrong, and maybe being able to retaliate, get this steal, get this wipe, and maybe send this in overtime.
The live wires are back in action.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to go ahead and pick this high ground opportunity. This is the max height. It's a great spot to be here for this team. Now it's going to be a bit of an uphill battle. It'll be interesting to see how this team decides to react against Z&D's strategy here. Pata is looking for something. Pata, kind of correct there.
Yeah, Mr. Tinder deciding to go ahead and drop in that box down. Looks like medium's going down to half. He might be able to get he's kind of going in alone. He might need some support right here. The medium getting down to 1 bar. He's getting his health back though, and we're having a nice little medium fight.
Great damage.
Right now. Medium heavy. Wow, and Z&D goes down.
That's incredible. That was a really good play there from Mr. Tender to go ahead and pull out that mesh shield to kind of counter the dome in a sense, if you will. And he was able to just kind of get pushed up in there, and that's kind of the importance of decision making in a fight there. Looking at that medium, knowing he's low, knowing he's the savior of the team there. So getting that medium pick and completely ignoring the heavy just isolates that heavy, and he's kind of can't do anything anymore.
Yeah, that was nice. There seemed to be a bit of a confidence boost in that too, because it's like when you see a heavy going in on a 1v2 by himself, you know he's feeling good. Well, let's see what Z&D can do. They got about 15 seconds left. They're destroying that C4. We got Mr. Tinder. He's above. He's getting some height right now.
Great RPG.
He gets the light down to 1.
The steal
They get the successful kill. The heavy's down though. The medium's
Oh
going
my-
down. No, he's won. He gets off. It's just Grasiv. Is he able to successfully get this steal?
There's
off?
only a
We're
couple
about to
seconds
see.
left. Let's see. Is he going to be able to get himself around in time? And that B9S
No.
secures them the game. Wow, what a close
Wow,
fight
Shadow
there.
with the clutch.
That is an incredible clutch there, Shadow, to bring it back for your team to really show that you are a dominant team, even though you're at the end of this bracket going through the full play day.
I know, you know, we don't want to get our teams discouraged for going this far through. I mean, we saw SSG go all the way through on the close qualifiers, and they ended up getting second on the majors. So, you know, just because you're having to do the full losers bracket run through does not mean that you are not able to compete. You know, and so like it seemed like if you notice that one wall of goo definitely was the savior for a lot of deaths right there, you know, and for the success of that cash out still.
Yeah, absolutely. That was just incredible. That fight was looking like it was going the way of Pada through that beginning fight there. And then unfortunately, they just lost just a little bit of momentum there. And they were unfortunately, especially with that steal coming through, just giving them so much space to work with. Once that steal is in your hands, you can kind of breathe a little bit easier. You don't have as much time pressure because the time pressure is on the other team now. And it's kind of a variable flipped in your favor. And so they played that pretty well.
I know, but man, what a good two teams though. Like this is good. Like at least it's not a blowout. This is what we want to see. We want to see 3 cash outs. Let's see if Pada can win this. Let's send it to the third map. You know, like I want as much as
Send
we
us
can
to the
get out of
third
this
map,
last match.
baby. All right. As the timer ticks down, we are getting ready to enter ourselves on into this match.
All right, the live wires versus the boundless. Our contestants are locked in and ready. Here we go.
All right. This game commences map 2. So the team ahead of the ball is ZND. If we're looking for ZND to win 2 cash outs to secure their spot, but we're also looking for Pada to win 2 cash outs to secure another map in this best of 3 to bring us to map 3. It would be very exciting. It'd be nice, refreshing to see Nozomi Citadel. It's been a long time since we've seen that map here on this game. This set of matches that we've been playing. Looks like that we've got Pada securing high ground here, choosing to actually they have secured security of this vault, bringing it on over, probably able to get this plug, while the remaining players, all the players of Z&D are going to choose to take this rotate. And so they actually are completely skipping the first part of what you normally see in a 3v3 match. They've decided to move completely into the cash out phase and immediately start fighting these cash outs. We'll be interested to find out when the actual fighting commences in this peaceful game of quiet fighting, as the steal attempt looks like it might be coming through. Not just yet. They're going to have to drop it down one floor. They're investigating, trying to see if they can figure things out. But Mr. Tinder posted up here.
And you see all of Z&D just kind of like working together. Like I think I would send my light. You know, he's a little bit quicker. He has a little bit more. You know, he has some dash capabilities, some gateways. I would like to maybe send him to try to get some information out.
Interesting tech
But
on the
maybe,
C4.
Maybe baiting is their plan on getting some information out to where they see them where they are. They know that they're above. That's not a shocker to them. So let's see how they respond.
Lockbolt is primed and ready to go with another fake. He's probably going to jump right on in with that. Stalled a whole minute now, and now he's going to gotta get a whole another minute. This team is trying to jump pad their way up, and they've made it another floor up, but it's not 2 floors up, and they're going to have an interesting time trying to decide how they want to attack this cash out. They really haven't been able to scout this team with the high ground. They haven't been able to pull them out either. No winch on either team makes it difficult to really manipulate this cash out in their favor. completely skipped Mr. Tender's
Wow.
position there on their rotate upwards. This is the Counter-Strike level gameplay that I'm here to see. The quiet fighting. We've got down to the last second. This is just one single team fight. He's forced to go for this point. That C4 does so much work. That Black Bolt is there to say hi once again as Graziev just takes picks and fighting, and the dome coming through, and there's the Mr. Tinder rolling up to secure that cash out. That was a quiet cash out.
Wow, yeah, it seemed like they were just waiting too much on trying to get Pata to jump down, but they just weren't baiting. You know, they just weren't interested in giving up their high ground. I think they needed to like realize after the first 2 or 3 baits that they weren't going to be easily baited down. They needed to try to rotate up, maybe take the long way. They could have gone up on the dome and then gotten control of the top hotel.
Yeah.
You know, they just were kind of like just waiting and waiting and waiting. And eventually, it just got too late to where they just had to, you know, throw their lives at the box, and it didn't work out. But here they are. We got 2. You know, we got Qualifier, got total hide up on this. He's getting a little bit of, you know, damage taken. They got to counter that.
There's the action, and it looks like this is the opposite of the first vault here as these teams opt to go for this fighting because they've been kind of not fighting anywhere near as much as they should be, maybe. And down goes Graziev in a great 2-play here with that mesh shield just doing so much work, and that mesh shield unfortunately doesn't do all the work he might want it to, with Clarify with a great clutch in that 1v2 situation he was in.
Yeah, it seems like just in total control. This seems like it's their map. I don't know who picked which maps in a row, but if my guess based off this performance, I think Pata they take this map.
The Boundless are back in play.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think there's a chance that Z&D has just kind of played that first cash out super safe because they knew they were comfortable and they would have to go to a third map instead of losing. So they were decided to play that comfortably, and they decided to just kind of chill out. But unfortunately, maybe they chilled out too much, and that did cost them a cash out. So it'll be interesting to see as they go ahead and go for this high ground. Pata's kind of got Z&D in a really bad spot, and a great pick from this team. It should be followed by a lot of aping, especially being caught in the open on Shadow. Evade is going to have to just play his life here wherever he is. Him and Shadow group up as they get pushed by Mr. Tinder and co. They didn't actually necessarily see them, so it might have been a waste of an early dome. At least they have that mesh shield to save them. A lot of damage coming from.
Flip the coin.
Wow, yeah, absolutely. They've really turned this around to a great situation. Graziev being the last alive, he's not able to keep himself together. And an incredible reversal with that, the incredible gameplay there from our players here on Z&D. What an incredible play.
I know, you have the light who was 1 bar resin, and then the heavy who's protecting them, and man, yeah, they just weren't able to capitalize on that. That was crazy. That was a really good flip by them. Man, that's what we love to see right here.
I know this game could go either way. This is just getting on the wire. I mean, I'm peeking Twitch chat a little bit more here and there, and I see everybody is just on the edge of their seats with this. Too much edging maybe in my Twitch chat, but it's not my Twitch chat, so keep it friendly, I guess.
Goes down. Shadow goes down. We got 2 of them almost half. Zoo gets his
able to
health back, but man, the Fade is not able to get his health back. We got the medium. He's gonna be able to.
He's gonna be able to clutch up here.
And he gets one.
He can't find him. He's looking for.
No, they get the flip.
He gets the insta, and that might be enough. That actually is gonna secure the game for them. What an incredible steal secured. I can't believe it. That's so unfortunate for
Zeus. Z&D. Wow.
That is a painful way to go because it was a close fight up until then. Wow.
Man, yeah. I'm glad they were able to get that flip because man, some of the decision making by Pata on that second to last fight when they lost and you know, they lost the cash out there. Man, like that was, I was very confused about what their decision making was, but man, were they able to come back and flip that for the dub?
Yeah, absolutely. So that's Pata secured both games or no? Am I tripping? Are we going to a third map?
I gotta Loki, I've been so locked in.
Dude,
I
I
thought
haven't been
Z&D
paying
won the first
attention.
one, but man, like honestly, I was like super fucking locked in. No, yeah, it's 1-1. It's 1-1.
Okay, yeah, it is third map. I've been so just focusing on the casting. I didn't even
No.
tell what team was on.
No, yeah, honestly, I was so locked into this gameplay. I was
That
like,
was exciting. So that is very exciting. I was
lost my
making it
focus.
sound
That
like it was the
crazy.
end of the world, but Z&D secured game map 1, and then we had Pata come back and secure map 2, and now we brought it to a cinematic third map. Now we're up to speed. Everything's looking good. We're gonna get our next game underway here. Our final map of the night. Looking ahead, we've got 1-1. Let me pull that score up, make it look more intense. Make sure you guys are up to speed. We'll have that score on the board when we tune in. Nozomi Citadel is going to be our final map of the night. And it's going to be an interesting one, that's for sure.
yeah, it's a good map for the last one. You know, there's a lot of drop plays. There's a lot of, I mean, these guys aren't running winch, so you know, on the big building, you know, we're not going to see that normal kind of winch play getting thrown off into the corner by the, you know, edge stairs. You know, so like we're going to see a lot more like drops being played. We're going to see a lot more. Hopefully, we get them, you know, the light and the medium to kind of like force some like far spawns. I would love to see some even bigger like macro going on right here. But let's see what these guys can do.
I know, I'm very excited as we're going to slowly, or maybe not so slowly, explode our way on into the arena here for our final match of the night.
The live wires.
I'm excited and sad. I'm ready to go to bed, but boy, have these been an incredible
Let's get this
burst of matches we've been watching tonight, even though the schedule has been a little bit scuffed.
I know. Just me commentate. I've been having fun, man. Like
Absolutely.
we've got some really good players. It's fun to see, you know, some high comp players, you know, outside of PHL. You know, because like some of these teams are in PHL, so it's nice to see them in different environments. But all right, we get Z&D touching box first. We got Mr. Tinder. He's kind of taking some high there. I think they're just trying to gather some information. We see Shadow. He's going to half health. I think they might kind of capitalize on that. We see the heavies going in 1v1. And then boom, down goes Mr. Tinder. Raziv is going down. He's 2-barred. He's going to try to play his life, and let's just clarify. He's going to try to get some trades in. He gets his ones against the medium. Wow. And down goes Clarify.
Great positioning attempt here from Clarify. He is just always the backbone of his team in some capacity. He's always doing work there. That was an incredible shreddage of Mr. Tinder's health pool there, watching at the beginning of that. So that was a quick fight, that's for sure. And we finally get our first cash out underway.
Yeah,
So
but the good
this-
thing about quick fights is you know, quick respawn. You know, they don't give it much time to set up, so it kind of helps when you are on offense on this, you know, at this point.
Yeah, they might be able to catch him off guard, but it looks like they've been spotted out, so off guard is not exactly going to happen here, especially being able to walk up here. Great damage onto Zeus right off of the bat here, but the return damage is coming through. This team is set up to heal, and down goes the platform they were standing on. Looks like they've opted not to immediately commence their fighting. They're going to go ahead and choose to take a little bit of the floor away as they move and bring that cash out on down, while the rest of the Z&D squad is playing patiently.
Yeah, and I like this team. Kind of like man, Mr. Tinder kind of gets a little bit too big for approaches right there. He's getting some kills though. It's kind of working. But I kind of like that play from the, you know, they're regaining their health. They weren't going too crazy. Both teams are still up.
Mr. Tinder just kind of put on life support there with just no HP to his name. He's taking those heals, taking that fight. He still is only at half HP. He's having such a hard time, and a great res on to Clarify, and that's going to be a little bit more stall, trying to keep that high ground control. What an incredible RPG coming through with Evade and a follow-up with Shadow and a great frag there. Now they don't have an instant defibrillator here on the team, and it looks like they might be going for a slow res just quick enough to be able to just immediately reset. On the last 20 seconds of this point, there's going to be a little bit of work this team is going to have to do because every corner of this entrance is gooed off. Mr. Tinder's jumping in.
Nice, yep. It looks like they're not really trying to overextend. You know, they just have to protect this cash out. They don't have to overextend.
Yep.
Down goes Graziv. Mr. Tinder, 3 bars, 1 bar, he's gone.
And there's your first cash out to ZND. That was a convincing fashion. They really held that high ground, and they held almost every doorway was gooed off, which is really difficult. Makes it difficult for the attacking team. They're gonna have to waste a lot of bullets making their way in, and that slowed them down just enough.
Yeah, ZND once again gets first touch on the box. They're setting their own tempo. They're setting the momentum of this game. They have not slowed down. We're gonna need to see Pata, kind of take control here.
Great immediate
Good
hit.
RPG.
Wow, huge frag on the Clarify. That's such a big frag, especially, well, first of all, Light is an easy kill, but someone like Clarify is so much damage on the team that you get to take out there, and they almost catch him
my
out
gosh.
because they barely didn't see him. He was able to stay alive while this team is just continuing to get that res off. Wow, that is a close call.
Yeah, that was so fucking close.
That was...
ZND absolutely clawing. They want this win so bad. They know that like Graziv is pretty much almost like a household name now on the finals. Like he's around everywhere. He's the top Ruby almost every single season. They want this guy gone for it.
Absolutely, and an incredible apage coming
Wow!
through, taking almost 2 to his name. Zeus, the last man alive on his team, gets the insta where the res coming through on this team is going to be a hard ask, and down to 19 HP, he's able to finish that frag out. And he's going to keep his team in it. That
Yeah, and
steal.
just like that, passion can get you so far, but man, what is passion against skill? I mean, Graziv, Mr. Tinder, Clarify, they've been in the game, they know this game like the back of their hand. Z&D, these guys have been around, but man, like, historically, Pat has kind of been at the top of the game longer. But Z&D, they are loving this. They have a lot of confidence. They need this cash out to solidify their qualification.
Unfortunately, a missed winch, but also a missed
Oh my
kill.
gosh.
Graziv
Wow.
stuck in the corner. That's
Graziv
painful.
down. That was a big misclick right there.
It's a big loss to lose that, but the rest of this team does have plenty of stall available, especially with 1 C4. Drop once, he's got another C4 to his name. And now they just have to play the stall game. Let's see if that stall game is enough. It is enough to push him off. He's not even
Yeah,
gonna
they get
have
off.
to use the C4. Doesn't even have to worry about it. Clarify just on no HP, but it's just so much work. That C4 does a little bit, but the goo could be stopping it. He might be able to get the steal off. He does. Is that the game?
Wow,
He's gonna be
but
forced
he
to
gets
go
the
for
steal.
it. Shadow the last alive.
No!
It's
It's ED gets it! They're qualifying!
That's what we like to see. My
Dang.
voice is gone. Oh my gracious. Wow.
Wow, holy
Got
shit.
the
that
chat
was
going
a
a
crazy
little bit wild
fucking
here.
end.
Looks like there's a chance that Graziv went AFK for a little bit. He lost his controller. I'm not really sure what we're gonna have to call on that because I didn't notice that. I did see he was stuck in a bad goo there, but I didn't really see that.
Wow, what a fucking finish. That was crazy. Raziv's controller breaking, doesn't have a backup.
No
Unfortunate.
controller.
I think in the
Controller
moment,
issues
if something happens, I mean,
is a problem.
man, yeah, it's kind of hard because like a lot of games, when you're, when you're more than halfway through the match, if a glitch happens, you gotta like take it on the chin. If it happens before halfway through the match, you're usually able to reset But after, halfway through, you're kind of have to be locked in. It's the unfortunate, world of online gaming, but it happens,
Yeah, it
But holy
definitely
shit, what a
is.
fucking
I mean,
finish. That shit was
that is
cinema.
insanely cinematic finish there.
I know somewhere in Sweden, Oscar is just like rock hard from the fucking finals right now. He's just like, what the fuck just happened? He knew that some crazy shit just went down.
Oscar rocking right now in his bed right now, probably.
Yeah, congratulations ZND for qualifying. Also, congratulations to Pata. They put up hell of a fight. They were doing fucking so crazy throughout the entire tournament. They were literally doing so fucking good. Yeah, and unfortunately, last 15, 30 seconds of the map, I'm not sure, if a glitch or, hardware shit happens, yeah, and there was no pause.
Oh, yeah, they definitely did call pause. I see it. I did not see that pause. I'm looking at the chat right now, looking at the logs. I see the pause in the chat.
Pause does work.
Unfortunately, we did not.
Unfortunately, I'm not in the match. I'm watching a stream of the game while I'm casting. I'm not really able to see a lot of that.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's
I'm
kinda
surprised
hard.
that the chat didn't pop up in the middle of the match there.
Wow, but this is the fun. Yeah, I mean,
We're
crazy.
pushing this off to the referees here, also known as Optus, to see what the official review is.
Yeah, man, that was close. Honestly, yeah, I mean, that fucking sucks because low key, I mean, they were holding it. But again, I mean, Graziv, I don't know, he was moving on my screen from what I saw. He was behind
there was
the
a
goo,
little bit
and
of time when they were wiped that we weren't watching them at all.
He was mantling the goo, and as he was mantling the goo, he got wiped. I mean, it didn't seem like it was much of his controller fucked up, unless his controller forced him to move when he didn't want to move.
Yeah, well, I mean, I tell you what, I think we're gonna have to, if we do replay it, we're gonna have to play it another day. I just don't think there's enough time in today, so we're gonna have to push that off to another day, maybe another stream, maybe no stream. Run it on the VOD.
We might have to do a rematch. I think there has to be a rematch.
We will.
There was a pause thrown out.
We will table it, and we will get that fixed throughout today and tomorrow. But the rest of the stream does have to go on, so thank you so much, everyone, for watching. I do believe we can go ahead and bring ourselves on over to the standings. We don't have much else. We don't have any funny exit videos here, but we take a look back through this wonderful night that we've had. It's midnight here where I'm at, so we have a wonderful phase one. Started with many different teams started out here in this cash out. We moved forward. We moved on over towards these best of threes to get the first qualification matches, where we had WMD, Freelo, Steppers, and Ignite Gaming securing those first 4 spots. And then we had to move a little bit further for those teams that didn't make it through that first cash out, and we had them run through a cash out. And everyone else to this point are going to be fighting hard, tooth and nail, to make their way on over towards phase 2. We had Glitch, Pulsar, Gamers, and Powda, the end of that, make their way on into phase 2. And unfortunately, I think we have lost access to I think my my Firefox has died, so we will not be looking at phase 2, I suppose. Phase 2, we'll just have to imagine in our head. We had in a lot of exciting matches. We looked at it for a little bit, and looks like my my computer has decided that is enough, and enough is enough. So we actually lost Chrome too. My entire everything is crashing, and I think we might have to call that a day because I'm losing everything. I lost my game audio. But nope, never mind. I think the music's just switching at the same bad time. So, Sutton, I think you're still here. Hopefully you are. Nope. Yep. So it sounds like my entire computer is going in the shitter. This is just the natural result of streaming for however many hours straight, 4 hours straight, 3.5 hours straight. Apparently, my computer can't handle production values. So thank you all for coming out. I'm going to wrap this stream on up. It's been a wonderful time, and I hope you all have a wonderful night, and I bid you all farewell. Oh, hey. Is Discord back? No, it is not. Okay, well, oh no. All right, well, that's